What?
Good evening, race fans, and welcome out to the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. The 100% Cup Series is going around to 12 playoff racing here tonight at Texas. I got some information on the screen for the track tonight. We're here at Texas, the infamous Quad Oval down in Fort Worth. 75 degrees a day, 40% humidity, partly cloudy with a 12-mile-an-hour wind for the drivers here to deal with. I am DeMar Sickenbottom. We got Carlos Cosa in the truck pushing the buttons this evening.
The what?
And we'll be bringing you some exciting racing tonight. Yeah, I'm struggling already. Struggle streaming here, Carlos. The guys are in warm-up, getting ready to wrap up and go racing as we look at Mark Padgett make some warm-up laps here around Texas Motor Speedway. As practice comes to an end here and we get ready for the grid. Let's take you through the playoff standings as we come into Texas tonight. Jonathan Laney, after a round of 12 reset, comes in 29 above the cut line with Lucas Hoytsma right behind him. And then a very tight field from third to eighth. That cut line is all of 9 points, and even going down to Dustin Hall there in 12th is only 8 points out. So all of those playoff drivers will be looking for a good race tonight. You can identify those guys with the red playoff banners, splitters, and spoilers on their car this evening. Rookie standings not as tight. Patrick Gitter holds a commanding lead, 96 points above Andrew Dyson, who's been coming on of late, and there's still time to catch him. Remember, this championship goes till the end of the season. In team standings, aka ownership points, Dirty South Racing, who's taken a surprising lead over the dominant, some would say dynasty, Apex Racing, with about 200-point lead, and a pretty tight midfield race as well amongst the other teams, Prodigy, Stand Analyzer Racing, like that. The Manufacturers Championship, the Chevrolets continue to dominate. The Fords are mounting an attack where they can, and Bobby Anderson has Toyota Manufacturing Racing Family on his back here, a couple 100 points out of the lead there. But as we take you through the grid tonight, Robert Miller's on pole from Altus eSports here, racing for Loudmouth Motorsports here in the 100% Cup Series. Clayton Hoffman is on the front row with him, Lucas Hoytsma in third position, followed by Patrick Gitter. Bobby Anderson, again, that Toyota, sitting there in fifth place. And sixth, we got John Delaney. If Delaney can do Delaney things here tonight, we will see. RJ Root and Alex Murray Prodigy running out row 4 here. Neil Pearson, Jim Schofield behind them. In 11th, Matt DiCiani. In 12th, Andrew Dyson. And 13th, a rookie making a start here tonight, Daniel Simmons, fresh out of D2, graduated up. He's starting in 13th. Derek Heitman in 14th. Jason Taylor, Jedi Taylor, no one calls him that, in 15th. Jamie Knopf in 16th. Dustin Hall 17th. Robert Tracy beside him. Nolan Hodgins 19th. Andrew Russo in 20th. Randy Drumhammer is in 21st. Matt Padgett in 22nd. Dalton Mobley and Tanner Marty rounding out 23rd and 24th. And the back of the field here, we got looks like Dustin Hall, Rob Tracy, and Nolan Hodgson, Andrew Russo.
The Wade Gracie from 25th battle.
Yep, sorry, I got dual radios going in, so I am in race chat. So you may get some mix-ups here. Got some blinking going on the track, so we extended the caution here, so we'll get another lap to let the guys figure that out here. And then, Wayne Grass, Andrew Van Der Sant, Sean O'Brien Jr. and Matt Long at the end of the field. Van Der Sant, O'Brien Jr. and Matt Long taking provisionals, so they will start at the tail end of the field. So expecting a pretty good race tonight. Again, Texas is pretty infamous for being, for the most part, a one-lane track. It's probably 1.5, 2 lanes. I have seen a Highline work on fresh tires. However, you do pay a cost with the tire wear trying to use that lane, but it is effective, so watch out for that on short runs, especially green white checkers. You may see a couple drivers try that high line just below the seam there in 1 and 2. 20 degree banking here in turns 1 and 2, and 24 degree banking in turns 3 and 4 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Light lifting going into 3 and 4. You can kind of hold it pretty much flat open depending on your setup here in 3 and 4 and getting that run onto the front stretch. So as we go, we look at RJ Root and look at the field, getting ready to get going here under the control again of Robert Miller, who took the pole this evening. A pretty chatty driver chat already as the drivers are excited to get going here as we get ready to go for lap 1 as they come out of turn 4. Once the pace car's off the track, it's in the control of Robert Miller, so he can go when he wants to. He can go when he wants to, and not beholden to the restart zones here tonight. As he holds the field, as they come down, as they go through the zone, and Robert Miller gets us underway. Green flag here for the Texas Motor Speedway at the Texas Ranger 400 as they dive in to turn 1. Clayton Hoffman on the outside. We got a car that's blinking there pretty bad.
Gitter.
Can't make out who that is. Patrick Gitter's having some network issues. Ooh, he tags the wall there. And that's a dangerous situation here in Sim. So having some network connectivities. What you're seeing on the screen, that's what the drivers behind him are seeing as we ride on board here with Bobby Anderson. As you can see that car blinking in and out all over the place. So that's going to be a concern for the drivers tonight. Hopefully Patrick Gitter can get that under control here in pretty quick succession. But single file out outside of Patrick Gitter. Looks like he's going to go ahead and looks like he's dropping out and giving these guys some room here. Single file through the back stretch.
I got a question for you since you helped with race control. How long until race control would step in, or would race control step in?
Pretty quick. We try to be considerate with blinking. Again, typically it's out of the person's control, but we usually let them know that they're blinking just in case. Again, you know, we got people who have families, maybe you left a download running, things like that, and it's just hogging up the bandwidth or eating up the latency. Pretty more strict draft tracks because of the contact, your nose to tail there, Carlos. So we usually don't give a whole lot of leeway. We usually give you a couple laps to get it fixed. And if you can't get it fixed, we'll typically ask, hey, drop to the back, see if you can figure it out. You know, again, maybe you got a download or something going, or your wife's downloading a movie, who knows. But then, yeah, after that, if you can't get it fixed, after some time, we'll ask you to park. So hopefully we don't have to do that again. Patrick Gitter is one of our playoff contenders as he wins there in 5th, fighting with the guys here. Oh, tight battle going in here for Lucas Hoytsma and he's still blinking. Lucas Hoytsma and Clayton Hoffman as Lucas Hoytsman gets into line going into turn 3. But yeah, that Patrick Gitter situation is getting a bit. We have some room there, so looks like the guys are working with him on that. As Robert Miller continues to lead here, lap 5 as we're underway in Texas Motor Speedway down into turn 1. The guys, you know, you should expect that, you know, tire wear will be an issue tonight, as it is at most tracks. Taking it easy, running some easy lap times. The guys typically can run almost half a tenth, maybe a second faster, typically off the get-go. But you'll hurt yourself 25 to 30 laps down the line. So the guys will be taking it easy. You want to keep the track position is the name of the game and save as much tire as you possibly can. Of course, that's a little easier for the leader, Robert Miller, out front, because he has that clean air and everyone behind him will experience the dirty air effect, which is modeled here in iRacing for those that are new and joining us for the first time, maybe unfamiliar with the sim. For those returning viewers, you know the name of that game, just like NASCAR. The closer and the more you follow a car into these turns, the harder you work in those front tires, the more aero tight you get, and you do some more tire wear over the long run. As we take a look through the field here, looks like we got, can't quite tell who that is. Matt Long in the back here, running with the provisional runners. Alex Van der Sant there, who is also trying to make his way up the field, following Mark Padgett down into turn 3.
Third.
So battle for third, as Carlos says. So we got Lucas Hoytsman making a move here on Bobby Anderson. Bobby Anderson, who was always a strong runner, especially in the starts of these races. Probably the best driver we have in our series without a win. So looking for that elusive first win. Could happen here tonight at Texas. As he's to the outside, Lucas Hoytsman dives on down, and Lucas doesn't fight him too hard, and they go back single file, exiting turn number 4. Ooh, got some dirt. Someone's banging the wall there, and there's Patrick Gitter still blinking. Yeah, as the guys continue to battle, we got John Delaney here, who is running in 7th position. Oh, and a battle. Oh, nope. Takes a peek there. Looks like the number 1 is Dustin Hall, and that Mardon Chevrolet was taking a look to. Man, it's hard to see that car. Looks like Matt DiCiani, who looks That car looks a lot like Patrick Gitter when he's not blinking. So the guys are trying to confuse us here in the booth. But a beautiful car, though. We got Mardon PC Chevrolet as well. As they file down the backstretch, single file racing.
Anderson is looking for second.
Yeah, Clayton Hoffman here is still in second position, followed by Bobby Anderson and Lucas Hoitzman behind them as well, that gold and white car. The 07 Ford Mustang, I believe. As you can see, the red splitters and spoilers on the playoff contenders as well on the ticker you can see on the left there. To note all of the folks that are in the playoffs, so all around the 12 contenders, and you can follow them around on the scoring tower. Jason S. Taylor, aka No One Calls Him Jedi, sitting here racing for in the top 10. So we do have stages tonight. Stages will be at the end of lap 85, the end of lap 165. So that will be a stage point for Jason S. Taylor. Not in the playoffs, but the guys that are not in the playoffs are still racing for fifth on back in the overall standings. JST will be racing for 17th overall in the standings. And of course, the top 25 will get the first crack and first rights of refusal for Tier 1 charters, which are important in this series. So we do, oh wow, as the guys try to avoid Patrick Gitter, it's blinking all over the place. It looks like they can't find him. And iRacing doesn't know where he is either. So
he's been dropping back slowly, trying to get out of the way.
Yep. Patrick Gitter's trying to get out of the way of everybody, slicing up nice in an orderly fashion. So as we talked about earlier, Carlos, obviously I had to get on the horn and just say, hey, look, Pat, you're blinking quite a bit, and if you can drop back and try to figure it out. So he's getting out of the way. We got a little breakaway here. The 4 cars in front are starting to put some distance on that next group of cars there. It looks like that is led by RJ Root, Prodigy Racing eSports driver, flanked by John Delaney there in the back. So I was saying, yeah, so the top 25 in points at the end of the season are the drivers that are eligible for Tier 1 charters, and that's crucial for the series, especially early in the year. So we limit the field to 40, and sometimes we get up to 60 cars that turn out. And if you have that T1 charter, as long as you lay down a qualifying time, you're guaranteed a spot, kind of similar to real-world iRacing. And if you do not have a Tier 1 charter, well, then you got to race in on time for those 15 remaining spots on the grid. So you'll see some guys racing all types of races going on here. So not just the race on track, not just for the win, not just for the playoffs, but even again charter position as well. We got the team point structure we went over earlier. DSR, Dirty South Racing, is trying to keep that lead and become the first ever, well, not first ever, but try to take away that team championship. As we have a battle here with Mark Paget with Dalton Mobley into turn 3. He's got that low line, which is the preferred line. But Dalton Mobley will have a run if he wants it here on the top. Let's see how hard he wants to fight Mark Paget for that spot. Yep, and they're going to go side by side down into turn 1. Mark Paget running about a lane off the bottom. You typically want to kind of, it's not really a diamond, but you kind of want to arc that turn and kind of put your wheels on that white line as you're in the second half of that turn as he completes the pass on Dalton Mobley on the back stretch. Right here looking at Matt DiCiani, Dustin Hall, and the 76 of Derek Heitman. Just getting a little frisky behind him, taking looks here and there just to see where Matt Long is as we ride on board with Derek Heitman going down the backstretch. An interesting way, kind of multiple ways you could run this track in 3 and 4. Some guys will lift at the beginning to get the turn in and kind of maybe lift midway to continue that turn in. Some guys will hold it wide open. You can go wide open again. You can get some minor wheel spin on the tire. You kind of live real early here in the turn 1 as you dive down. Like I said, as you kind of exit, put your wheels right there on the white line like Derek Heitman is doing. You get on the gas. It wants to step out on you, but you saw on the wheel a little bit, keep it straight, and off you go to get that run to try to get the position. Not making any headway here on Matt DiCiani, but still battling nonetheless. Here we got a battle here up front. We got Bobby Anderson and Lucas Hoitzman, who now moves up position. So those they're teammates. Are they teammates? Who Bobby
They're
races
from
for? No, Bobby
manufacturers.
races for. Yeah, Bobby races DSR and Lucas Hoisman LMM. I think they were teammates last year, so little last year's brain creeping up with me. But he makes the move on Bobby Henderson, does Lucas Hoisman, and pushes the Toyota down one more spot. In third place, Lucas Hoisman is. Lucas, who 3 wins this season, has ran pretty good, aka Lukey Bear, one of the fan favorites in the gold labor Ford there. Just looking through the field to see where we got some battles again. Hoffman, Hoytsma, pretty close here as we're looking up front. We got Neil Pearson, the kind of former road specialist, had a very good showing in Bristol, where he was pretty dominant actually. And if it wasn't for a late mistake or penalty there, he probably was a contender to win that race. Apparently loved Bristol and did exceptionally well there, but known here as a road ace out of Australia. And his partner in crime, Andrew Dyson, who runs in the 04 Chevrolet as well, also in the playoffs. But these guys have gotten exceptionally well and honed their skills here on the oval. Also, don't just run in this series, but they also run in an Australian series and run oval as well. So they are familiar, but have stepped up their game quite a bit here in the last recent months on the ovals. As Dustin Hall goes down into turn 1 here, we cut back to a battle with Randy Drumhiller, battling here with, I can't make that car, looks like Andrew Russo, filling in for Ralph Hutchinson in the 8 car, so a substitute. Riding in, I believe that's for Split Analyzer, if I'm not mistaken, that number 8 car. But Randy Drumhiller trying to make some way. Randy Drumhiller, Mr. Drumhammer as we call him, always a wily old vet. You typically see him riding in the back until the end of the race, and then he'll pop up in the top 10 sometimes. So you got to keep an eye on him. He's a solid killer here in the series, and bides his time, very patient in the racing. Pretty popular among the drivers too. A lot of respect here in the field for Randy Drumhiller. And we got a move by Nolan Hodgson making a move here on JST in that pretty funky car he got there. I forget who's the sponsor on that car there, but gets that move complete. And Andrew Dyson is now going to take a look under JST as well. If he's not going to fight too hard. We got a series rookie behind them. As they come close in the backstretch, Daniel Simmons is watching the action up close, again making his first start here tonight in the 100% Cup Series. But Andrew Dyson and JST side by side out of 3, giving each other plenty of room. Love to see that respect here on the track. That's what we're all about here in the 100% Cup Series, racing hard, we're racing clean. And Dyson gets the move complete as they dive into 1. So another lost position here for Jason S. Taylor. And that was down for 14th that we're racing for here. Is Daniel Simmons again watching the action. By this time, probably just getting a look at all the guys. He's racing against some of these guys in D2, which is our feeder series, support series that accompanies the 100% Cup Series. Races on Friday evenings. Still looking for a broadcaster for that. So if you've been looking for those broadcasts, we're working to get that back on the air for you. But JST's not done. It looks like he's going to keep fighting to try to hold off Daniel Simmons. Nope, he's going to take the high line, and looks like he is going to reserve himself to possibly save his tires and the machinery and maybe live to fight another day. As Jamie Knopf and Matt Paget also go by JST as well. Yeah, so far so good. 28 laps into a scheduled 267 tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. Pretty some movement, not a whole lot of movement. Looks like we have Dustin Hall, who's made some headway and moved up a bit here. But out front remains the same as when we started. Robert Miller here is leading the field with about a half a tenth over Lucas Hoytsma in second position, and Clayton Hoffman. Another 3-time winner here this season. Clayton Hoffman, who is, I believe, is second in the rookie standings there. And a battle here for, what was that, third place? Raymond Root. Fourth place, Raymond Root has taken the position away from Bobby Anderson, who, again, kind of continues that slide. And this is around the time, so we're 30 laps in, where the tires will come into effect. And if you've used up your stuff, it'll start to show. Guys will start to see weakness behind you and start to look on the inside, outside to see what they can do to get around you. It gets tougher to follow cars in traffic. And it's just kind of a cycle once you kind of get the heat of the tires and the grip goes away. It's pretty all downhill from there. Very rarely these days with the tire model. Okay, as we got another battle, but we go to a free-wide TV replay. Looks like we got JST here on screen. Oh, hopefully JST didn't bait. Oh, look at the save here. Loses it, keeps it out of the ground. Nope, goes mowing. And keeps it under control. He gets back on the front stretch. Ooh, that was a close call from Jedi there. That could have got real bad real quick. As we go back to the battle, so John Delaney now taking the outside of Bobby Anderson. And we're racing here for 5th place, I believe, 6th place that is. So Bobby continuing to slip down the top 10. With now Neil Pearson behind him and looking a little hungry to get more spots as well.
There he goes.
Oh, as he dives to the inside, makes the move on Bobby Anderson. So takes that shallow line into turn 3. It looks like Bobby's going to probably give this spot up. He's getting a whole bunch of room here on top. There's a bump in 3 and 4 on that high line that you can get caught out by, especially late in the run if you're trending loose. I found that out last evening on City D2 on Friday night. So you got to mind your throttle control as you hit that bump. You can't keep your momentum. You can defend on that side, but it's just something to be aware of. There's a lot smoother there in the bottom of 3 and 4 as Will Pearson completes the pass on Bobby Anderson. Ooh, and John Delaney as well getting a little sideways up front there in front of the field. Delaney doing Delaney things, as Corey Silver loves to say, as they're side by side. Oh, about a foot between them. Neil Pearson trying to use everything he can to get around John Delaney after the mistake there and loss of momentum. Down into 3 and 4, hugging that white line. Bobby Anderson also going to see if he can get a position back here. Seeing weakness in the 6 car there, the 6 Chevrolet of John Delaney, the 2022 champion with 400% Cup Series. Looking to defend that title here in the round of 12. Again, I believe he came into the evening today 29 above the cut line, so looking for a good day this evening. But of course, we're under the same rules as NASCAR here, winning you're in, so taking that checker flag, you don't have to worry about points. Maybe even be able to take that out. Ooh, someone clips the wall there coming out of turn 4. So we've got Schofield and Derek Heitman now side by side down into turn 1. With Matt DeCiani looking right behind him. Derek Heitman's going to complete the pass here as he go out of turn 2 onto the backstretch. And looks like that Jim Schofield, Dirty South Racing driver, is also in some trouble. Trending a lot like a few guys here. Looks like they're trending a little loose here, getting off of the corners. So we've seen that with JST. We've seen that with John Delaney. And now it looks like more drivers are starting to have that issue. Not really my cup of tea. I prefer a tight race car myself, but I don't have any talent. And that's your Cody Bird segment here of the broadcast of self-deprecation. But Bobby Anderson under Derek Heitman as well, as they go side by side now into turn 3. Again, the bottom is the preferred line. You can defend on the top, but you will get a run off of the front on the front stretch as Derek Heitman gets around Bobby Anderson here and keeps that position. .38 laps. It's caution free so far. And it looks like we got pit stops happening here. I heard someone calling out pitting here just a second ago over the race radio. Bobby Anderson is into the pit, so the 5 cars bring it down pit road on lap 39. Probably a smart call again. He's starting to slide through the field So trying to get that tire advantage and get 4 more years in that car, come back out and get the undercut. So when he comes out, he's going to be faster. Again, he'll probably start to conserve a little bit to get to lap 65, I believe was the stage, or 85, I can't remember.
85.
Lap 85 for the stage. So it looks like he's splitting a little bit down the middle, going on the front half here to try to make up some positions on the track, but he's going to have to save to keep those positions later on if we stay green here. So 4 tires and fuel for the number 5 machine as he rolls off of pit road and back into the race. As we watch Matt DeCiani here on screen, and so the 04 and the number 4 doing a little battle here on the backstretch here at Texas Motor Speedway. That race EPI Chevrolet of Matt DeCiani. Pretty good year here this year. He raced a little bit. Was his Andrew Dyson tagged the wall there a little bit. But Matt DeCiani's had a wonderful, phenomenal year. Not quite as good as his peer Patrick Bitter, but phenomenal race by Matt DeCiani, who's making a strong playoff run here in the 100% Cup Series, as he loses that position to Andrew Dyson. More calls for pits here. Looks like the 12 of Nolan Hodson is planning to come into the pits here under green flag. So more takers will come down pit road. Not the easiest pit road to get onto. It's not as hard as some tracks. And a little lock up there on the rears of Nolan Hodgson, so hopefully he got it slowed down there. We do have the virtual stewards will be watching for speeding penalties if you go through any of the sectors. I think that results in a 40-second hold if you do speed on pit road, so you definitely want to avoid that. That'll put you at least 2 to 3 laps down here at Texas Motor Speedway on the green. As we go to the 3-wide multicam, Nolan Hodgson on track with a battle on the top here. Andrew Dyson's battling up top with the number 45 of RJ Root just behind John Delaney. So guys are trying to get that track position and set themselves up here for the green flag. Dustin Hall also on pit road, as well as Jim Schofield is down pit road as well. So well into the pit cycle here. Let's see where everyone here shakes out. More takers, Derek Heitman. Prodigy eSports is down. Another lockup from him as he gets on pit road. We'll have to see if he has spared or not. Robert Miller, though, the front 4 keeping that track position. So Robert Miller, Lucas Hoytsma, Clayton Hoffman, and Alex Murray are up front and choosing to stay out and go a little bit longer here. I believe the optimum pit strategy probably would be to split in half, as they are for most stages. And we see Van de Sant, RJ Root, and others on pit road as well. 4 fresh tires and fuel to get them to lap 85. As we see Randy Drumheller and and a penalty for John Delaney, as Carlos was called out here on the radio. So I guess he did not get that hold up in time, or maybe possibly hit the cone and coming on pit road for unsafe entry. We'll have to see what that penalty would be. But he's going to be stuck for an extended amount of time, and that's going to put a huge dent in his race if he doesn't get some cautions here later on. Leader Robert Miller is in pit road, so the 15 Altus eSports car is in, and followed by Lucas Hoytsman. So the teammates of Loudmouth Motorsports are in, and Andrew Dyson follows them in as well. On the top side, we have more action as Randy Drumheller is fighting for positions. And we also see Jedi Jason S. Taylor also still running that high line, which is a little odd. I would have figured that JST would have gotten on the bottom of the track. I'm interested to see if he set his car up to, maybe he's learned something in practice, or is his car just not handling as it wants. More calls for pit road as Neil Pearson is now down pit road. We got a call from Sean O'Brien Jr., Apex Racing driver, is also coming down pit road. Yeah, and these are critical moments. So again, you got to nail the pit stop. You got to get on pit road. You don't want to give up any time during the pit cycle. That's why the guys you're seeing smoking the tires coming on. You don't want to get an unsafe entry, hitting the cone or crossing over the line. That also result in a penalty. So you're stationary for only as long as you need to be, and the same thing getting off pit road. You got to get to that right pit road and get off, and again, get up to speed as quickly as possible in the apron and enter on the backstretch here. So for now, Clayton Hoffman takes over your lead with looks like about 11 seconds to 13 seconds over Dalton Mobley, who is going long here. So it looks like Clayton Hoffman is your last playoff holdout, looks like. So it looks like he's banking on a caution, which we are tend to get here in the 100% Cup Series, unfortunately. As more takers, Mark Padgett, Robert Tracy roll off pit road. As we watch RJ Root up top. It looks like Dalton Mobby's going to come in this time by. So it looks like your net leader right now is Lucas Hoisman, who looks to be ahead of Robert Miller. He got off a little bit quicker under that pit cycle. Several people still have yet to pit, going with the Cody Bird strategy, going long and waiting for that caution. Jason S. Taylor is going to inherit the lead here. Well, not inherit the lead. I guess eventually when Hoffman comes down. But Hoffman, Taylor, Wayne Grass, Tanner Marty, and are your holdouts here on the green flag cycle on lap 50. Again, going to lap 85. And Clayton Hoffman comes down pit road. And did JST come with him?
No.
He did not. So Jason Taylor's going to lead some laps here at Texas Motor Speedway. Well, hopefully he will lead the lap here.
Oh, Hoffman overshot.
Oh, overshot the pit stall, had to back up. Wayne Grass is in. So 2 more remaining to come down pit road here. Taylor and Marty is calling out now to the field here that he will be pitting. So that will leave Jason Jedi Taylor as the lone car to stay out here on the cycle. So he's going to lose a huge amount of time, but again, he's gambling on that caution so that maybe he can get some free track position and some fresh tires at the same time. But if this gamble does not pay off, he's going to be well back in the field. So looks like Apex Racing is shooting for the win tonight, going all out, not taking any prisoners. They don't want just a good finish. Again, Jason Taylor not in the playoffs, running for 17th really in the overall standings this year, but shooting for that win. Jason Taylor is a winner here in the series, so he won, I believe, Pocono 2 of 2021, I believe, was the race that he got. Which is a pretty epic finish as we watch on the 3-wide multicam. Cars back on track and battles all over the place. So we got Andrew Dyson. Looks like he's here in the fight with the... Can't quite make out who that is. It looks like Logan Hodgson as well. And is that Alex Murray?
Yeah.
That is Alex Murray. In the 22 machine. Prodigy eSports, driver and owner. That team recently switching from, well, not so recently, but switching from Toyota manufacturer earlier this year. Now running Ford Mustangs for the 4 Prodigy eSports drivers. Jason Taylor still staying out here. Man, this is, you know, I was told the fuel window is somewhere between 60 and 65 laps if you want to run it empty. He's got about a 12-second buffer here to Lucas Hoisman, who's going to be coming in a hurry. But yeah, he's going to lose a ton of time. We're getting some TV for the sponsors and for the team. As we can see the lap deltas here on screen for the last 4 or 5 laps there. Looks like he's losing about a second and a half a lap here to Lucas Hoisman. So he's eating up that cushion in a hurry here on JST. Looks like we got Cameron Stone in the chat. Cameron Stone, former 2020 champion. What's going on, champ? Yeah, big brain strats being run out here by Jason S. Taylor. The S stands for strateger. I verified that on the birth certificate. But Lucas Hoisman is your net leader. Again, follow right behind Robert Miller. Teammates here. Looks like LMM have offloaded with some pretty good cars here. Leading the way here on lap 57. As Robert Taylor will drive by JST here to unlap himself the hard way. As you're right on board here with Robert Miller and getting a look at the rear of Lucas Hoisman just in front of him as they come off the front stretch. So 7 seconds to JST, still hoping for that caution, but I believe, again, we have everyone that has cycled on and off pit road. So for the most part, not a whole lot of danger. The guys will be on fairly equal tires, plus or minus 5 or 6 laps. And, most of the issues come into play is when you have that tire difference between the cars and comers and goers, and you don't know when someone's lifting, when someone is coming down, if they're having troubles controlling the car, maybe they can't keep it on the bottom, they're popping up and down through lanes. But coming through a pit cycle, that's usually not the case. Everyone's going to be pretty peaceful. We know we got a couple stages to get through here, so I don't believe Jason's going to catch that caution, but never say never. Someone could be feeling pretty feisty here in the lead in the race. Looks like Rob Miller is keeping his distance away here from Lucas Hoitzman, trying to keep that, minimize the effect of the dirty air. As Andrew Dyson is underneath Nolan Hodgson there in the Brandt number 12 with the corn numbers. Trying to fight back here on the outside lane, and will lose that position to Andrew Dyson for 8th position.
Go for 5th.
Another battle here for 5th. Neil Pearson now getting on the action as he's now going under Bobby Anderson, who's the first to pit under that cycle. It looks like it worked phenomenally. He got back up to 5th on that pit cycle tire advantage. But as we talked about earlier, you're going to feel that effects as we get close to that stage end. These guys will be on fresher tires. I'm sure Bobby Anderson was saving as he's a pretty smart driver. He knows what to do, but there's only so much you can do when the guys are on the fresh rubber and earlier in the run.
Taylor pit road.
But he'll try to aero block. Oh, Taylor's in and smokes the tires. Hopefully he didn't get a penalty there.
He's good.
So Jason F. Taylor, the 41 machine, will complete the pit cycle as he comes down pit road after fighting the good fight. Doing it for Cody. But back up front, Lucas Hoisman will inherit your actual race lead here. And right behind him again is Robert Miller. And these guys have stepped off from the field. So you're looking at Alex Murray, who is 7 seconds back to the front 2-car breakaway here, as they're starting to come up to some more lap traffic. Robert Miller dives under Lucas Hoisman in turn 1. I can't imagine that these guys aren't. I'm pretty sure they're in the same Discord and communicating with each other, so they'll be on the radio, just swapping positions around. Smart thing to do. And these two have been known to work together pretty well on the intermediate speedways. There was the infamous Nashville track, so I'm sure probably swapping around to do 2 things. One, minimize the tire wear for each other. As we have some battles up top through our multicam. And Bobby Anderson again under attack from the drivers there in the top 10. Bobby's going to have a tough time holding on these positions. But on the high side, we have Andrew Dyson, who is now being flanked with, I believe that is Jim Schofield as well, who is lining up behind. Oh, is they going to go 3 wide here? Yes, they are going to go 3 wide. As Derek Heitman takes them 3 wide into turn 3. Man, they are all over this 5 machine. Nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. He's got to do what he can to try to hold on to these positions and try to potentially fight for the stage point. Will be the focus right now, is to hold on to 10th position. As Derek Heitman continues his move, as 1's not enough, he'll get by Bobby Anderson and immediately go under Jim Schofield here in turn 1 and exiting turn 2. Trying to take that position away from him here on lap 65. 3 wide action as Clayton Hoffman, and as he drives him by, Nolan Hodgson closes the door on Clayton Hoffman. He's not going to be happy about that at all. He had the run, and it looks like he just barely had a splitter underneath Nolan Hodgson. I'm sure they're going to be discussing that one after the race. But he makes it work, and off they go again as Bobby Anderson continues to drive. We're on board with Jason S. Taylor, who goes under Matt Long there, I believe, in the 97 machine, and 3 wide up ahead. Looks like JST might get that caution about 10 laps too late here on 67 if they keep racing like this. But my goodness me, it is go time here in the stage with the pit stop out of the way, and the fight for the stage points is on. As we ride here with Jason S. Taylor watching the back of that 12 machine. Again, Bobby Anderson continues. Oh, and a run coming from Jason S. Taylor as he almost gets into the back of Nolan Hodgson, and they're going to go 3 wide down the backstretch and into turn 3.
Yeah.
Looks like Nolan gives up the ghost there, knowing that he had the run. Again, just trying to get around Bobby Anderson, who is turning into a bit of a rolling chicane here with the early stop on tire strategy. So has a very good short run car, looks like, for Bobby, but unfortunately, that long run is going to be a struggle tonight. Hopefully, he can get some more adjustments in on that car under these green flag cycles and get that thing worked out. But if there's a green-white checker and he gets track position, that will be a car to watch. As Jason S. Taylor was going underneath another car there. They're back 2 wide here. Yeah, and drivers are starting in driver chat to get a little chirpy with each other, as you might anticipate it again, as the level of racing ratchets up here on lap 69 as we roll to stage end at lap 85. Side-by-side action here behind Bobby Anderson. Looks to be Matt Long up underneath Matt DiCianni. So trying to complete that pass and fighting for who can get the first crack to get this position away from that number 5 machine. And they all settle out here and go back to single file. Matt Long is able to take that position away from Matt DiCianni. So Matt probably living the fight another day here in 13th and 12th. Patrick Gither here is still back in 13th. Not in the picture. I don't know if he was able to fix that blinking issue or not, but had to kind of drop out of contention as he worked on that. And Matt Long and Matt DiCianni again up underneath the Kellogg's 5 machine. Yep, and they will file in as Bobby Anderson going to fight back here on the top side on Matt Long. Atlanta's own Matt Long trying to take that position away from number 5. Meanwhile, back out front, same old story here as we round out to lap 72. Robert Miller is followed right behind Lucas Hoitzman in second position, 6/10 back. Alex Murray has made a little bit of ground on those two, so he was 7 seconds. The last time he checked in on him, about 6.7, so he's made a few tenths up here on the front of the field. Neil Pearson, again, road extraordinaire, is running there in 4th place. And issues for Nolan Hodgson here as he's off pace as he dives into turn 1. Let's go back to a 3-wide TV replay and see what happened. Did he get loose here in 3 and 4? We will see.
Yeah.
He did get a little loose. Oh, and everyone behind him just avoided. Has to cut through the grass. That will be an incident point, of course, for Nolan, which is a good time to talk about incident points. So here on the iRacing service, if you're not familiar, there is an incident point limit of 13 here for this race at Texas Motor Speedway in the 100% Cup Series. Incident point meaning if you go off track, and in this case in the oval. Oh, it was another person gets loose there. That Rob Tracy, I believe, there in the blue and yellow 33. As he's having trouble as well. Wow, after pitting, I know, when did Rob pit here? I mean, he can't have more than maybe 20 laps in those tires, so still really be having issues getting loose off the corner. But anyway, incident points. There's a limit of 13. You get an incident point if you go off track and at ovals. That would be cutting through the grass or leaving the racing surface. And you get 4 incident points issued by iRacing if you make contact with another car hard enough, and it deems it to be a hard enough impact. So not a lot of wiggle room here as Matt DiCianni continues the fight with the number 5 Kellogg's car. So Chevrolet on Toyota action here. Both of these two are playoff drivers, so fighting for those positions to get all those needed points they can and perhaps make their way up and fight for some stage points, but they're kind of well back here for now. I tell you what, Bobby has been making that high line work, so he is defending with all his might as much as he can. But again, just that slight tire deficit from an early pit stop. Again, gains some track position with the undercut, but most of these guys behind him will have fresher tires. There's Nolan Hodgson behind him tries to rebound here as well. Trying to look back down the field here. We got a few drivers unexpectedly here at the back. It looks like Sean O'Brien, Dustin Hall are back here in 20th position. I would have expected those guys to be a little higher up this evening. So maybe they don't have everything they need from the car, and maybe needed a chance to get some more pit stops to work on some adjustments. As we follow the number 24 here, the Texas Rangers machine of Sean O'Brien Jr. in that 24, followed by Dustin Hall there behind him on PC Chevrolet. John Delaney, another notable playoff driver who is dead last right now, 1 lap behind. Again, he got that speeding penalty, we believe, on pit road during the cycle, so he's going to need to make some headway here to try to get that lucky dog to get his race back on track in the Mountain Dew number 6. As we take a look at him coming out of turn 2 onto the backstretch. Again, your 2020 champion holds about every record you can hold. Here is a battle on the front stretch. Matt DiCianni is 2022 champion, excuse me. As Matt DiCianni is making more moves on Bobby Anderson, who can just not get this done. These two have been at it for about 15 laps now. Looks like Nolan Hodges has got his car back under control, and he's giving some bump drafts. And as he's going to do the cutback, Bobby Anderson's going to go back underneath him into turn 3. So these two not giving any quarter to each other as they almost touch there, coming out of 4. Again, Nolan Hodgson seems to be trying to figure out who he needs to line up behind to get his move done as well. If these two keep on, then they're going to open themselves up, and Nolan Hodgson's probably going to try to take them through wide. But it looks like the battle's over. They finally get around that number 5 machine, Nolan Hodgson and Matt DiCianni. Move on with their race as they dive down into turn 3 here. Robert Miller still out front. Oh, as you got some action, looks like that Robert Trace having some issues there in front of the leaders. As he'll go a lap down. That's not what Lucas Hoytman wants to see. And he's kind of driven away from everybody, himself and Robert Miller here in the lead. But lap traffic becoming a issue here. We're 2 laps to go in the stage. Again, the stage ends on lap 85. So it looks like some good stage points, barring any catastrophes here for Robert Miller, as he has stepped off from the field as we go to 3 wide multicam. As we look at Jim Schofield here in 10th place, or excuse me, that's Matt Long in 10th place. Matt Long and Randy Drumhiller down the field here doing battle. In the Texas Ranger 400 here at Texas Motor Speedway. But things are looking good here for Robert Miller, who is so far so good, looking like the favorite tonight as we round through the first stage here. One more lap in the stage here for Robert Miller. We'll start lap 85. But this is what you want to see. Again, right now, 7 seconds over his nearest competitor. Host Koitsma is only 1.3 seconds back. But again, those two are teammates. I wouldn't expect them to come to heavy blows in the race until we get down to the nitty-gritty. But as we come through 3 and 4, Robert Miller in that Logitech VRS Altus eSports Ford Mustang will win stage 1 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Lucas Hoytsma, Alex Murray, Neil Pearson, as they all come across the line for some much needed stage points. Dyson, Heitman, Long, Root, and Jim Schofield here will round out your top 10. And the stage caution comes out. So yeah, man, we're Robert Miller putting a whipping on the field. LMM has unloaded some heat here this evening here at Texas Motor. With Alex Murray is a little far behind, so some adjustments to be made, some strategies to be adjusted here to see if anybody can make up some ground here on those LMM cars, because they are absolutely flying. We'll let the guys here. They will get in line and come down for a pit stop, and then we'll grab our stage 1 winner, see how his race is going and see what the outlook is. So we'll let him get the pit stops out of the way here, and then we'll bring them up to the booth and get a word with our stage winner, Robert Miller, in that number 15 car. So interesting strategy. We saw JST, Jedi Jason S. Taylor, tried to go long there, hoping for the caution, which did not come out. And looks like he very much paid the price for that. But probably testing out some tactics for later on. Again, Jason does typically like to experiment a little bit here with the strategy, as everybody will dive into their box. And while we're doing that, we'll go ahead and grab our stage 1 winner, Robert Miller, and get a word.
Here he is.
Robert Miller is Damar's up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Well, man, looks like LMM has unloaded some rocket ships today here at Texas Motor Speedway. Yourself, Lucas Hoisma, you've pretty much been out front through the pit cycle. Nobody really throwing you any threats here. How's your race going so far, and what are you feeling?
It's going so good. So far, so good. After the disaster of a race we were having at Bristol, we decided to come out with a domination, as it were.
Always a good strategy. Come out, dominate, take no prisoners. It's always a good strategy. Talk about the car. Is there anything that, again, you're walking away from the field. Is there anything you need to correct, anything you're not liking so far that you had to make an adjustment on?
No, car's going pretty good. Really, the only trick is stay ahead of the track. It'll change a little bit as the track cools. It's going to cool quite a bit, I expect. So just be ready for those adjustments, really.
I got you. Any word from Luke's there, your teammate, coming down to the end again? We're only in stage 1, but he's the only guy that can kind of keep up with you. Any worries there?
Lucas is fast. That's the only thing. I just gotta be mindful, hit my marks, and don't make any mistakes. I made a mistake on that last pit stop. Just get it out of the way. Hopefully, the rest of the race I don't have to.
All right, sounds good. Well, good luck to you on the rest of the race. We'll throw you back up with the team. Good luck with the rest of the race.
Thanks, you too. Wow.
Oh, hold on, getting you out.
I'll take care of it.
Now I got him.
Okay, cool.
What? Oh, looks like they moved him. Hold on.
Yeah, I moved into a way.
We'll move him to his team channel. Yeah, I can move. I got him, Carlos. So that was your stage 1 winner, Robert Miller, who's pretty confident. Again, car is doing everything it needs to be. Again, he'll be watching out for some adjustments as the weather changes. We do have dynamic weather here in iRacing, so as we go later into the evening, race start was at 2:30 local time. So as we ease on into the evening, that track will cool. That will affect the race cars. So again, the guys, and I think Robert pretty much puts together setups for his team. So he'll be expecting all those and trying to stay ahead of all that. Still, the track will cool. Tires get a little more grip. The track we expect to get faster. But it could also catch some guys out. You could potentially get some characteristics that you're not expecting and perhaps get a little too tight, start scraping walls, or get a little too loose. So, but as we're 1 to go here, we'll get ready to launch in stage 1. Again, Robert Miller and Lucas Hoisma on your front row. Alex Murray, Neil Pearson right behind them. So Robert Miller will be your control car here. So the Fords, looks like they are looking to get another win here and close up that manufacturer's championship, which when the Chevys have kind of been running away with here of late. But the Fords are fighting back, so it's always good to see a Ford Mustang, myself being a Ford Mustang driver. So take a look at, as we get ready to go green here, let's take a look where a couple of our rookies are. We got Daniel Simmons back there in 18th. So solid showing from the 06 car. But anyway, here we go. We're in turn 4. The pace car will duck on off here. The lights are off. And once we do, we are under the control of Robert Miller. Again, the restart zones are not in use. So it's at the discretion of Robert Miller when he goes. And he takes off late here. They go. A little bit of checkup here through the field. Hopefully everyone gets through that. And it looks like they do. Andrew Dyson saying that he looks like he missed a gear there and checked up that bottom line. So not what folks want to see, but Robert Miller gets a good launch. Lucas Hoytsma up behind him. It does allow Alex Murray, though, to get the drop onto Lucas Hoytsma. So he'll have a little less dirty air if he can stay and keep that position. Side-by-side racing, though, Andrew Dyson is trying to keep that position away from Derek Heitman in the 76 machine as they come down onto the front stretch. And Derek Heitman does take that position away from Andrew Dyson. And getting to work quick here. We see Robert Miller starting to step away and extend that lead already. Again, look, the same motive as stage 1. The guys will start to fill up that notebook, start to fill up their brain with what their car likes, what it doesn't like, how it reacts, how it doesn't react. We've got a full green flag run, a green flag pit cycle. So you'll know that all the things that you're doing and testing, if they're working, if they're not working. So you'll be wanting to keep as much track position as you can, with saving as much tire as you can as well. Playoff drivers, it looks like they're distributed all through the field here, as that looks like Jim Schofield going up under Andrew Dyson. And he will take that position away from Andrew. Or excuse me, that's Matt Long. Sorry. Matt Long in the assembly colored car. Those colors are inverted there for Dirty South Racing. So burgundy on black and black on burgundy. Well, when in Rome, man, just say it loudly and confidently when people won't question it. Anyway, car is making moves here. Clayton Hoffman is trying to get back up, so he takes a spot away from Andrew Dyson in 2-3. Clears them pretty easily here. Again, playoff drivers, look, they know what the real race is. They're racing for stage points and for the finish of the race. So if a guy gets a drop on you, he gets a drop. Don't want to risk any unnecessary risk here in your race, as you're keeping your eye on the prize, which is that championship cup at the end of the season. As Matt Long again goes underneath Derek Heitman again, so it looks like they're going to swap positions back here in 3 and 4. Matt Long not going quietly into that night, wants to hold on to that 5th position. Matt Long again, Matt Long, Neil Pearson here in the top 5, not in the playoffs. Neil Pearson was eliminated after Bristol last week. Matt Long, I think, was also eliminated. He had several guys had been, unfortunately, real life, comes first before the sim. So a lot of guys had other obligations in real life, so could not make all the races, and then fall behind. You fall into a win, or you're out kind of situation. So as we got side by side racing here again, man, these guys are taking. Man, Bobby Anderson cannot catch a break this evening here, Carlos. I mean, they're just all over him from the second the green flag drops. And again, just like the guys learning their own cars, they're learning all the cars around them. So they'll know that Bobby Anderson has a pretty good short run car. As he goes back to the outside, and there's blinking there. Ooh, it's always dangerous not knowing where the car is. But Bobby Anderson takes that position back. But as I was saying, these guys will also know that Bobby Anderson, look, he's pretty fast for 10, 15 laps, but after that, he's pretty vulnerable. And they'll be looking to take that as we go 3 wide down the backstretch. And we do. Looks like everything works out there, but the white and red car there is having some issues. They're holding position on the track. It's possibly a pit road adjustment has gone awry for some people. As we go a little further back here, so Mark Paget in the 02 Caterpillar Ford, Chevrolet. Can't make out this for the Chevrolet. He's back there fighting again the rolling chicane of the 5 car. And 3 wide as Dalton Mobley takes them 3 wide out of 4. You can make this work, but you do need cooperation. Looks like they settle out, and cars will back out to avoid the catastrophe. So Jamie Knopf is in the mix there as well. It's the first time we've kind of called out Jamie there in the 84 car. He's looking to get involved in the skirmish here. As we go to the multicam, watching Bobby Anderson, who's getting an incredible run into 3 and using that to launch on the high side. And that's how he's defending a lot of these positions as he goes back on the outside of Dalton Mobley. Door to door, they go down into 1. And they continue to battle. I'm sure Dalton Mobley was just probably screaming in his car right now, Bobby, get out of the way, man. You know you're not going to be able to keep this position. Cut me a break here so we can get on. Oh, when he touches the apron and slides up, Dalton Mobley in front of his teammate, Nolan Hodson. Sean O'Brien comes over the radio to let him know that touching the apron line is bad.
Battle for 5th.
Good on Sean O'Brien.
Fourth,
good on Sean
actually.
O'Brien. Battle on 4th is probably calling out here. So it looks like we got Matt Long and Alex Murray. Whew. Alex Murray, struggle streamer. But yeah, Alex Murray and Matt Long, they're battling. So Matt Long is obviously feeling like his car is a little bit stronger than it was last run. So he's going to take that position away from Alex Murray, move up into the 4th position. As you can see, back to about 12th here is all gearbox to nose. As, again, a lot of, with the next-gen car, aerodynamics is incredibly important. It's very hard to get separation early on in the run, as Matt DiCianni then goes under. Derek Heitman and Bobby Anderson are going to do the same. There's an issue there for Derek. Maybe got a little loose or something going into that corner. But yeah, aerodynamics is incredibly important. It's hard to get separation. Worse at some tracks than others. We saw that at Kansas a couple weeks ago. Even at places like Bristol, you can again, dirty air will just frustrate you and do things to your car that you don't want it to do. So guys will be again trying to save tires and waiting for the longer run so they can start to get that separation, start to get themselves in clean air, get away from these guys, get out of these hairy situations, like the side-by-side here we have with Derek Heitman. And I believe that is Schofield now in that car he's battling with.
Yes. Oh,
as we're 2x2 through Ray's back, and Alex Murray is having a problem.
Oh, there we go.
And they save it. No caution, no caution. As they keep it going, Alex Murray's handling issues. Everyone's going to blow by them on the backstretch. Several for incidents. And Alex Murray's not happy over the radio, but several incident points issued out there on lap 105 as we race here to 165 at the end of the stage. Hopefully we get a replay there and see what happened.
Yeah,
that was a hairy situation. Fortunately, everybody comes out okay. Some track position loss, no cautions. But these guys have been racing hard side by side, especially into turn 3. So it looks like Dicey went underneath. Bobby Anderson went to the outside, and they just clipped the front and rear of the quarter panel there of Bobby and Alex. And Alex not happy about being taken 3 wide there. But as I always say, racing will happen on the racetrack. I guess not quite expecting the... and Alex Murray has to pit to fix damage here, I believe. And overshoots his pit stall, so a good day. Had a meatball flag, so he had required damage to fix. So similar to the real world, if you accumulate enough damage on your car, and then the virtual stewards will say, hey man, you got to take that down pit road and make your car safe before you can come back out. So a meatball flag given to Alex Murray, probably some toe damage, and I'd imagine that front wheel where you kind of clipped the wall there was kind of right reared a little bit after being taken 3 wide. But we've seen Bobby Anderson have that strong run have that strong run going into especially 3, where he can drive deeper into the outside lane and get the position on cars. So did that again going 3 wide, but again not appreciated by the 22 machine. So it looks like limited damage for Alex Murray. You can have required damage. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a long repair. It can, go from a few seconds all the way to replacing an engine, depending on the impact or the incident you have. So anywhere from a few seconds to upwards of 40 minutes to repair a car here in iRacing.
And
so fortunately wasn't
on the Discord not happy, saying real nice, so much hate, just riding around and get right hooked. Not a happy camper.
Yeah. I don't know if he knew Bobby Anderson was to his outside. It surely wasn't expecting Bobby Anderson to be to his outside. And man, I probably had to say Bobby's name about 100 times already tonight. So, a very eventful day for the 5 machine at Element Toyota. But as we get back to the racing, Andrew Dyson again up front here with Matt Long down the backstretch. They're side by side. Again, Texas, tough place to pass. Again, you got, really the preferred lane is around the bottom tip, especially early on in the run. Is probably 1.5 lanes, 2 lanes, so you can defend on the top, but it's typically a losing battle. So these guys will know that. Again, that's why the moves are being made. They're trying to get underneath someone to get that preferred line, or if you want to compromise their exit. So there are 2 ways to attack this. This is typically the way I go about it, just because I'm a little slower, so got to be a little more savvy to do this. But as Bobby Anderson does, is you drive in deep to a corner to take away the exit of the car in front when you're trying to pass, and then you compromise their exit and get the run hopefully down the front stretch if you can keep power down on the rear and not slide out, and you get the same result, right? You get around them into the next turn. So a couple ways to go about it, but again, not a whole lot of room here at Texas Motor Speedway to get that grip to make those moves. So doing that will be at a premium here. But again, we stay caution-free, lap 113, as we race to 185 to the end of the stage. As we watch Clayton Hoffman here, followed by Andrew Dyson. So these two about 3-4 seconds off the lead. Robert Miller, smooth sailing still looking the best out here in the stage 2. He's got the short run, he's got the long run. Lucas Hoytsma in second place, 7th behind him. So just as we were about 50, 60 laps ago. No one really having an answer. And Alex Murray is probably your closest challenger that last stage, and we know the issues he's had already. Quite a few guys we would expect to be up front have been anonymous. John Delaney again to win the lap down with the speeding penalty, so he's kind of MIA. I did get a chance to talk to John Delaney briefly before the race, and wasn't fairly confident with his preparation, but said he was going to give it a go here tonight, see what he could do. But again, 29-point playoff lead above the cut line coming into the race, so definitely have some time to turn it around here at the following races. So we're at Talladega next week, and following that we'll be at the Roval in Charlotte. When we get to Charlotte, we would expect Andrew Dyson, the typical names you see at the road courses, that 04 car, that 62 car of Neil Pearson. Again, Alex Murray is always lightning quick on the road courses. So Robert Miller, if he makes that race as well, again, formidable on the road courses as well. I want to say Robert Miller had a very good showing at Coda earlier in the season. As we keep an eye here on Andrew Dyson. Got some battle going on back in the field as well. Looks like we have Dalton Mobley and Jamie Knopf is their nose and tail, trying to get around each other with Mark Paget following them. We got O2 Caterpillar. And back here we also have Jim Schofield, who's missed a few races here. He's been visiting some IRL races, but back to join us here this Saturday evening. As Mark Paget will go to the outside of Jamie there, looks like. Trying to take that position away from him. And Nolan Hodgson behind them watching all the action. I believe we get in, we got Dalton Mobley, I believe, calling out pit stops here. So he will be our first taker here in stage 2. So going with the Owens cars, try to get around him safely. He will come down through the gears, down and hit into third or second gear. No issues getting on pit road for Dalton. So he'll come to the attention of his pit crew here. Again, 4 tires and fuel, a pretty standard stop. Again, with the tire weather here, not really a lot of wiggle room for strategy for green flag. You want the 4 fresh tires, really no 2 tire stops here. That won't do you any good. You'd save a few seconds here, but well, actually wouldn't save a few seconds. Still got to fill the tank up with fuel, so 2 tires not an option here for green flag stop. So 4 fresh years on the 77 Liberty Chevrolet. And there we go. Now he's rolling.
Very damaged.
Yeah, probably attending to an issue here as we're on the 3-wide multicam. Again, your 2 leaders out front. Robert Miller, Lucas Hoisman, 15 in the 07. Again, Loudmouth Motorsports. Looks like they're going to be racking up a ton of points here in the team championship. Neil Pearson and Hoffman behind them in 3rd and 4th. And on the top of the screen, watching Matt DeCiani and Derek Heitman work their way around Texas Motor Speedway. So it'll be interesting to see where it shakes out again. Crew chiefs on the box will, they'll understand what worked and what didn't work last stage. So we'll see what the calls are this stage. Looks like we've had our 1 shot at a caution, so we'll see if we can go green flag for this stage as well, with Alex Murray getting into it with Bobby Anderson a few laps ago. As we work lap 122. Going to 185 here at the end of stage 2. Keeping an eye here on the front here. Looks like I'm hearing Wayne Grass not happy about something going on in the field here. That number 3 Pennzoil Ford on the radio. Certainly not happy with someone. Some more side-by-side action as we watch the cluster 3 here again. Derek Heitman, Matt DeCiani, and Matt Long, I believe, getting in the mix here. This is your battle for 5th position, 6th and 7th here. And I'm hearing over the radio here that that stop for Dalton Mobley looks like he was having some issues fueling the car here. So the gas man, the fuel man on that car is only able to put in a few gallons at a time, which is why he was sitting there so long. So hopefully they'll figure that out. Should have a few different fuel tanks down there in the 77 pit. So the valve and the spout not working as expected.
Get her pit road.
So get her down to the pit road. Ooh, still having the connection issues here. Patrick Gitter is in that fight again for the playoffs. He came in 6 points above the cut line. However, leading the Rookie of the Year standings by a pretty good margin over Andrew Dyson. And we got some more pit action coming. So green flag cycles are getting underway here for stage 2. 24 car Texas Ranger Chevrolet of Sean O'Brien Jr. is on pit road.
How are they doing?
And Sean recently eliminated from the round of 12. Unfortunately, could not make it into the round of 12. So, looking for a good run tonight. Perhaps trying to chase a race win to show everybody his medal and say, "Hey guys, I may be out the playoffs, but I'm still a good driver in this series." Mark Paget now calling out, so Leo 2 will be coming down to the attention of his pit crew. He has Nolan Hodgson directly behind him.
Whoa!
Oh, and a slide there coming on the pit road. Was that Hoffman sliding? Who was that? Or was that Mark Paget?
That's off, but didn't speed. Wow.
Yeah, so it looks like there was contact between. I know Nolan Hodgson was behind Mark Paget there. He was calling out the pit stop, but I don't know. Maybe some communication issues on the 12 car. I don't know who got into him. But he was unable to pit, so slid through pit lane. As you see Matt Long get on and off pit road there. So he'll come back onto the track. Clayton Hoffman in the 92. Takes his 4 first tires in service. Mark Paget comes back around. So he was going to lose a ton of track position after issues getting on pit road. Jim Schofield and Dustin Hall as well come to the attention of their crew on lap 130. So they'll have about 55 laps here of. Oh, Dustin shoots through his pit stall. Oh, not what you want. Shouldn't lose a lap with that, but certainly will lose track position. So we'll come out a lot. Oh! And the issue here with Jamie Knopf, I think that is, coming on the pit road, hits the inside wall into turn 3. It certainly won't be speeding on pit road. And right in front of JST, so he didn't catch any of that. Thank goodness. But yeah, oh man. Again, you know, it's not terribly difficult getting on this pit road at Texas. It's easier than other tracks, but by no means is it a simple task, especially when you're trying to carry all the speed you can and minimize that pit road delta here. Meanwhile, all this chaos still staying out. Neil Pearson is assuming the lead of the race as Alex Van der Sant comes to pit road. So that 62 machine leading the race, and Derek Teichman as well going a little bit longer, as well as Nolan Hodgson in the 12 car, opting to stay out. And Bobby Anderson's on pit road as well, coming to his pit crew as he dives into his pit box right there in front of John Durandi. And Neil Pearson's on pit road. So the 62 comes down. He will link the lead to the 45 car of RJ Root. RJ, who's came in just 1 point below the cut line here, so he's sitting in 9th place right now in the round of 12. So looking for a little shake up here to maybe get him some track position, set him up for a stage win. As we see Matt Long going around there, Alex Murray and Dustin Hall going around Tanner Marty, I believe they're in 29. And Tanner's trying to get to pit road here, so he's trying to get to the bottom, and he will do that. Wayne Grass out front in your lead during the pit cycle, and he is going to be pitting down this lap. So that number 3 Pennzoil Chevrolet will come to the attention of his crew as well. Yeah, Wayne Grass, that will complete the green flag cycle, and he's on pit road, so coming back around. Just like in stage 1, Hoytsma, who got around Robert Miller during the pit cycle, looks like he will assume the race lead as Wayne Grass is now in his pit stall. As we're going to look at, again, making his series debut, Daniel Simmons in row 6, coming to the turn here. Looks like we've got side-by-side action. Side-by-side action here. Alex Van der Sant and Dustin Hall there as they race down the front end the turn 1. Yeah, looks like the guys have learned their lessons. We got a couple close calls there. No penalties, but definitely more damage than we saw cars taken at the pit cycle of stage 1. Lucas Hoytsma back out front. Robert Miller is in the 2nd position as we see Dustin Hall. They're going to go 3 wide. Nope, just 2 wide here as they go down the front stretch. As he goes underneath the... Can't quite make out who that is. Who's that red in the car there?
Jim Schultz.
No. Behind Dustin Hall there.
RJ Root.
Ah, RJ. There we go. Different paint scheme for RJ. So
I would call that a
a
white.
little hard to recognize, but white and red. Right. White and red. Yeah, the Prodigy boys switching up the paint schemes on me, so unfortunately couldn't recognize him. Anyway, back out front, we have Lucas Hoytsma and Robert Miller dealing with some lap traffic, so they'll be going around Tanner Marty here in the 29. Alex Murray will be coming down to the attention of his pit crew, so he's bringing the car back down pit road, unfortunately. May still be having issues with that car. I know he's been let guys by here during the pit cycle, so hopefully not in terminal. He comes back out and just routine pit service for him. And a little further back, so RJ Root and Dustin Hall continue the battle as RJ makes the pass on the #1 Mardon Chevrolet.
Gitter has a very fast car because he's all the way back up to 8, but he's still blinking.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Patrick Gitter, who is fast everywhere we go, just absolutely lights out. Puts on a good showing at every single track. Definitely a threat to win the championship, and someone that all the players got their eyes on. I'm sure is a fan favorite as well. Just racking up the wins over at the EPI setup shop there as well. But obviously, staying safe is paramount. So Gitter trying to stay out away from a competitor so he doesn't cause any issues there with the iRacing service. We are racing over the internet, so latency and there is some predictability and predictive software where iRacing kind of guesses where you will be to the millisecond, and if you're blanking, that kind of throws that off a bit. So I got some battling back in the pack. Back in 16th, 17th, we got Justin Hall continues to make his way up through the field as Jim Schofield and Dalton Mobley, they battle side by side in the back in the field here. And Dalton will clear Schofield, I believe, and take that position away. Right now, Lukey Bear out front on lap 142. Who is looking a little bit stronger, so maybe continuing to work on that race car through the pit cycle. We saw Robert Miller take that spot away fairly quickly. I think they ran kind of like this for about 10 laps, and then they thought they were initially swapping position, but I don't think so. I think Robert just had the stronger car after a few laps and drove away from Lucas Hoytsma. But so far, so good. Hoytsma was able to hold off his teammate right now. As we got some more battles in the back, battle here for, looks like 10th position, John Delaney. Or not John Delaney, excuse me, Daniel Simmons fighting with Derek Heitman here in the 76. I think they made a little bit of contact with color, so these guys are getting a little rowdy again as we get closer to, as we slowly work closer to that stage in here.
And Delaney is a lap down because of the speed limit penalty in stage 1. Not in the free pass position. Actually, excuse me, he is in the free pass position.
Okay, Delaney in the free pass position, so he is the lucky dog if there are caution to be thrown at this time, if he can hold on to that until the stage end. Now, remember that Hoytsma and Miller are up front, and they're going to be tearing through the back end of this field, so he's going to be hoping they don't get past too many cars, because if they lap someone, then they will be in the left dog position. And with a green flag race, typically we typically see 5 to 7 cautions here in 100% Cup Series, which is about normal fare here for when guys get pretty racy. So usually a limited amount of opportunities to get lucky dogs, but Texas Motor Speedway a little cleaner than most. No caution for cars here yet. Only the stage caution so far. So continue to run like that. That's going to make it tougher for John Delaney to get that lucky dog. Just because again the guys up front will be lapping cars, and he's going to need to leapfrog everyone that they lap to keep that spot. As he goes underneath, Mark Paget, the 02 here on the back stretch, as they go side by side, right behind them. Looks like they got the blinker getter right in front of them. And it looks like John Delaney will get the advantage going down that preferred line. He will take Derek Heitman with him, as well as Daniel Simmons under the the 0-2 with Paget. Paget maybe just lifting there and giving the guys and letting them go. It's always good to see some good racecraft from the guys, knowing when to fight and when not to. Again, a lot of racing here to come in this race here, Texas Motor Speedway. As we continue to work to lap 165 will be your stage 2 end here. The guys are feeling pretty good. There's some driver radio going back and forth here, but all jovial here back through the pack. It's always good to hear no one's trying to kill each other. It was a little different some 20 laps ago, and Alex wasn't very particularly happy with Bobby Anderson there with that turn 3 pass that kind of went awry. As we watch Daniel Simmons in the 06 machine here, working behind John Delaney. And Daniel Simmons, who was pretty quick in his own right, has had some pretty good runs in Division II, which again is the kind of feeder series to race your way into 100% Cup as Gitter continues to blink in front. And that make it is blink is getting pretty bad here with I can't even see him right now on the track.
The movie download's getting closer and closer to finishing. It may not finish before the race ends.
Yeah, he's got to turn down the whatever he's torrenting right now. He's got to throttle that back a little bit. Sure, he's getting some legal downloading to it.
I cannot have OneDrive on if I do broadcast, otherwise the stream bitrate goes really down.
Yeah, you know, I get that a lot with if I get 3 or 4 Google Sheets open on the browser, it's kind of constantly refreshing in the background, and it'll have the same effect. It's just like if I open Task Manager or open up some network tools and watch what it's doing, it's just constantly talking back and forth with the syncing. So, but that's the world today. Everything's online, right? So, bandwidth is the name of the game, and latency, and again, all that competes with, you got folks in the house streaming Netflix, watching a 100% race, whatever you got going on. So all that matters. And sometimes it's just your ISP, right? Your net service provider just having issues in your area or not cooperating that night. And boom, it can ruin your race and ruin the race for others. So anywho, we're watching Clayton Hoffman in the 3rd position here in clean air. Looks like I've got a lap car as the drum wheel behind him as we go back to Neil Pearson, and I believe that is Tanner and Marty, if I'm not mistaken. Andrew Dyson's wrapping out your top 5 right now with Matt Long right behind him in 6th position. Again, Andrew Dyson in the playoffs. Matt Long recently eliminated from the round of 16, did not make the round of 12. We're going to be fighting for that 16th place.
I got a question for you. For next year, do you think we're going to be running the restart zones next year?
That depends. We turned them off and went away from them just because it's been a work in progress with iRacing. I believe they turned them back on for official races and public lobbies, but there are just so many bugs with them, and it was starting to cause too many issues. As you know, we don't have live race control, quote unquote, here in 100% Cup Series. It's typically myself or Kevin Steele or a volunteer, but we're also driving, right? So we can't get out of the car to review things because we're also running the race. And so because of that fact, we typically don't clear black flags and all that stuff post race. And there were just too many legit bugs with iRacing, which they work very hard to quail. So every time something comes up, they've been pretty on top of it to get a patch out and get that working. I remember that earlier in the season, Iowa particularly was bugged, and we did see a little bit of the preseason. The LA Coliseum was bugged, where even if you were the control car and you're going the speed limit and we watch replays, even though you followed all the procedures, it was still a black flag, right? And possibly black flag out in the front row as well. So potentially, we'll always take a look at it. But once we see some consistency and some more stability with that mechanic, then absolutely we'll turn it back on. But again, they continue to tweak that of what the margins are for if you jumped or not, or if you have to maintain speed, what are the tolerances for that speed, 5 miles an hour, 3 miles an hour, what have you. But yeah, hopefully so. We can use the restart zone. It is a cool thing to have. They have put it into the sim for us. So, but for now, again, until that is kind of becomes just part of the sim that's not having to be touched too much, not affected build to build, and we'll stay away from it for the time being. You will notice some guys will still kind of use the restart zone as the control car. Again, I think they're used in public lobby, so old habits die hard. As you watch Lucas Woodsman here. In the lead, still in front of Robert Miller, 7/10, as we're getting ever closer to that stage 2 in here at 165. That beautiful 07 gold Ford Mustang. Yeah, we love to use the restart zones if we can. Got the lap deltas up on the screen for you. Lucas Hoytsma versus his teammate Robert Miller. And it looks like he's just now starting to lose a little bit of ground here. Lap 159. I'm curious to know too. Again, these two are teammates, the 15 and the 07. Again, I think Robert typically will build the setup. Again, obviously the team will put in the hours to test and to fine tune what Loudmouth Motorsports will unload with here at the tracks. But pretty sure, interested to know what the share of information is. If Robert is giving Lucas his exact adjustments. And of course, every driver is different, right? So you may not need the same thing that your teammate needs or your driver needs. But interesting if he's just going to feed him that information. I was part of Team Conti last year when I was in the car, and it was very common for Dustin or Adam Benefield to give, hey, here's what I'm feeling, here's what I'm doing with my car. If you need that, take it, use it. So we were sharing information back and forth on what adjustments to make to the platform to get the desired feel for the car. But everything's pretty quiet here as we work towards the end of the stage. Lucas Hoytsma continues to stay out front here in front of Robert Miller. Looks like he's increased that to about 9/10, so almost a second over his teammate here. So a little role reversal here in stage 2. As we have Clayton Hoffman in the back, which going by a lap car, Randy Drumheller there. So again, Clayton Hoffman has kind of filled that role of Alex Murray, as Alex Murray's been dealing ever since the interview with Bobby Anderson. Has been dealing with damage and car issues and trying to work his way back up to the front and hopefully catch some caution so he can make up some time. So, but as we ride on board with Lucas Hoytsma. Yep, go ahead.
2 laps to go. That car up ahead is Bobby Anderson. Delaney absolutely needs Anderson to hold on for a lap and a half, and at this speed, it looks like he may not.
And I wonder if Lucas Hoytsma will know that. Well, obviously, if he has the broadcast stuff, he'll definitely know that now. So he'll have a little bit of time with the delay to react to that.
He tapped him.
Bobby Anderson. Yeah, Bobby Anderson is struggling a bit. Again, we know Bobby is not the best on the long run. He has a decent short run car. So yeah, John Delaney will definitely be hoping he holds on, or that Lucas will cut him a break to keep Bobby on the lead lap. These two were teammates last year. I think Bobby did run with LMN before moving over to the Dirty South Racing Shop. But it looks like Lucas is taking no prisoners and Bobby's going to let him go. So Bobby will know that he will be the first one a lap down as we come and work towards the end here of stage number 2. And your stage 2 winner will be Lucas Hoytsma. And Bobby Anderson will assume that lucky dog position. So another tough break for John Delaney, who was the lucky dog until the last couple corners there. As Robert Miller, Clayton Hoffman, Neil Pearson, Dyson Long, DeCiani, Derek Heitman, Nolan Hodgson, or Hodginson, as Cody would say. And Mark Paget will round out your top 10 here for stage points in stage 2 at the end on 165. So stage 1, just like stage 2, LMM domination. The gauntlet has been thrown down here. So, we've seen how the pit strategy is shaken out. We'll have 100 laps here or so. We'll have about 98, 97 laps here in the stage. I would expect everyone to split this one as well. So we should see a lot of what we saw in stage 1 and stage 2. So we're going to need to see some home runs here by this top 5. So the Neil Pearsons, the Andrew Dysons, the Matt Longs, the DeCianis, whatever they got in the tool belt, now's the time to use it and take a swing for that fence to see if you can make up any ground on these LMM boys, because they have come to win tonight and they are not playing at all. So the field will be led down by Lucas Hoytsma for stage break. And as always, we'll let them get their pit stops out of the way. And then we will get a word with our stage 2 winner, Lucas Hoytsma. Lucas Hoytsma, it's Demar's up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Lucas, you were strong in stage 1. You held the lead for a little bit after the pit cycle. Looks like Robert Miller got around you. A little bit of a role reversal there in stage 2. You were able to get the lead after the pit cycle, but then you held them off for about 7/10 most at stage, and then stretch it out to about a second. So it seems like you had that car working like you wanted. How you feeling with the car so far?
Well, I mean, it's pretty much me and Robert right now. These pit stops always scare me. It puts everybody back on an even playing field. Somebody's going to throw an adjustment in there and maybe get a better car. But, man, I'm feeling good right now. Me and Robert, if we just play this right, keep it clean, just, do what we need to do, I think we got a good shot at getting a good points day at least. And, both of us figure right now, if one of us didn't get this win, it's a bad day from here. So we're going to try our best, and, hopefully things go right.
Absolutely. You got that Nashville shake and bake going. So I mentioned on the broadcast you guys were working pretty well together at Nashville when you got that fuel mileage win, and Robert Miller was instrumental in that with the teamwork. But yeah, looks like you are definitely one of the cars to beat here. What is the share of information? So we know your teammates, we know you're in the same Discord. Is Robert letting you know what he's doing, or is he keeping secrets from you? How's that working right now?
Well, he played with his fuel in the last stop, and that was part of the reason couldn't get to me in the end of the stage. And I'll just leave it at that. But no, we're not. We're on the same car and everything, but I think we're just kind of racing our own races, and just the bare minimum. Let's not wreck each other. Let's not cause each other any problems. But we're not gonna just tell each other how to win or beat each other or anything like that. We're out here racing each other for sure.
Absolutely, everybody's going for themselves. So we know Robert Miller is your close competition. Anybody else in this field you're worried about while we get ready to go here?
Well, Hoffman, I don't know. That last run, he was looking pretty good in the long run. We're looking at him for one of the guys behind us. I don't know. Now that he's starting in third, clean air, it's going to be interesting to see what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know the EPI boys are always quick. Patrick Gitter, who's having the network issues, has had to kind of let guys by. So we'll see what they can do. Keep an eye on it. Good luck for the rest of the race here. Again, you guys are definitely head and shoulders above the rest. Again, hopefully green pit stops, no more cautions for cars, and we'll be talking to you at the end of the race.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it.
All right, your stage 2 winner there, Lucas Hoytsma, as we get him out of the booth and throw him back into his team channel. So there you go. A little bit of information shared, but not keeping secrets to themselves to hold to the end here to try to get the win for each other. But definitely looking for a good points day for the teammates. LMM, so excellent day for them so far. You mentioned Dustin Hall, and wherever you mention Dustin Hall, you gotta talk about the other EPI guys and Team Conti cars. So they typically will run the same equipment as well. So again, your Matt DeCianis, your Dustin Halls, your Patrick Gitters. Again, Patrick has been kind of taken off the board here with some of the connectivity issues, so probably not going full tilt. But the lights are off on the pace car. and we are getting ready to go racing here for the final stage at Texas. 400-mile event here. We'll see what the race has in store for us. Looks like some confusion in the back. Andrew Russo, who's subbing in that 8 car for Ralph Hutchinson, is trying to get where race control is telling him to be. Well, here we go, out of turn 4. Lights off on the pace car, waiting for the pace car to enter pit road. As we get ready to enter go time, it's the last stage. There are no more stage cautions, no more planned breaks. The only thing that's going to stop us here is a caution for cause, as Lucas Hoisman takes the field into the restart zone at his discretion when he goes, and he is off. Green flag is out for stage 3. Almost bumps Robert Miller, a little bit of contact there on the start, but he will clear everyone down into turn 1. Robert Miller and Clayton Hoffman side by side as they go into turn 1, into turn 2, onto your backstretch, side by side all the way back. Patrick Ritter continues to blink there, who is giving everyone plenty of room there on the bottom. He's in it's like 11th position there, right behind Mark Padgett. But Lucas Hoitzman leads your field down into turn 1. Hearing Alex Vanderson on the radio in the 96 machine, not happy with someone there on the restart. Again, tempers are starting to slowly flare. We're seeing issues more and more. I expect that to increase as business picks up here at the last stage of the race. Watching Andrew Dyson here on the backstretch. Everyone's single filed out here. Looks like the modus operandi again is to get to that preferred line, and again trying to minimize that dirty air. Keep your front tires as cool as you can, and start to set up and pick your way through the field. Obviously, if you're up front, you want to keep that track position. And we got playoff drivers kind of strewed all through the field. Patrick Gitter is getting out of the way of folks here. He's continued to blink, so he's going to get out of the way, and he's down to 19th. So again, this is an unfortunate day, man. Not the day you wanted for Patrick Gitter, again, out of your control. Just trying to get whatever points and hold on to whatever position you can. But just a terrible day for him, and a long way to go here is running 175 or 267. Unfortunate. Hate to see it. Absolutely hate to see it. But all of his competitors, so those other 11 cars in the playoffs, would be loving to see that. And again, absolute threat to win the championship. Starting to run away a little bit with the Rookie of the Year trophy here. Patrick Gitter is in that 21. So Andrew Dyson and Clayton Hoffman will make a little bit of ground up in that Rookie of the Year standings. Just taking a peek here a little further back in the field. Let's see what we have going on here. Take a look at some guys, maybe names we haven't called out as much. Looks like we have some cars. JST in that 41 car, running back in 18th. Again, not the day he was looking to have. It's kind of struggled all day. Looks like he didn't unload anything terribly quick at Texas. Tried the stage 1 strategy, tried to stay out, catch a caution, could not. And he rides in 18th. RJ Root in front of him, Wayne Grass in front of him in that 3 Pennzoil car, so maybe we haven't said too much tonight. Wayne Grass, who is our Ryan Newman of the series, who typically does not give an inch on the racetrack. Will fight you tooth and nail for every position. Always a threat if he's behind you on the restart to challenge you for the position you have. So Guys are always aware of that. And there's Dustin Hall, riding around in 14th. So the man that Lucas Hoisman is going to keep his eye on here. A little bit further back in the field. So we'll see what he's able to do. Again, doesn't have the track position, which always will play a role, especially here at Texas. Again, mostly a single file, single lane racetrack, especially in 3 and 4. And, see if he can make some headway. So Hoyt's going to continue to lead out front. Robert Miller, Clayton Hoffman, Andrew Dyson, Matt Long. Round out your top 5. As we got some side-by-side action here, Wayne Grass is diving underneath. I believe that's Jim Schofield who's racing here. Trying to take that position away. Is really unable to do it, so he'll fall back in line. A bunch of that little group up, and we got some separation here. Looks like Matt Long and Dyson falling a little bit off of this front group here, which could be intentional. Again, you want to save tires and get yourself some clean air. Watch Matt DiCiani as well start to lose some position. And Neil Pearson thought he was taking a look low, then takes a look high, maybe going for the pass here. Nope. Looks like he's also just getting some clean air on his nose. Probably be best right now for those two to work together to try to get back up to Andrew Dyson now. It looks like Neil Pearson's not having any of that. He wants the position, so he dives underneath Matt DiCiani. Matt gives up position, lets him know over the radio, throws the virtual hand out the window and say, Neil, go ahead, you got it. So trying to preserve the track position. Going to give that spot up and live to stay in front of all the cars behind. Ola Hodgson there in the 12 car. We know what he'll do if he gets the opportunity. He will take it 3 wide if you give him a chance. Try to go for a 2 for 1. So smart move by Matt DiCiani. Doesn't want to see that happen. But Hodgson is closing in on him anyway, so the move might be on regardless. So lap 184 of 267. I'd like to welcome everybody out to the 100% Cup Series. If you're watching us for the first time, we appreciate you tuning in. If you're a returning viewer, let us know in the chat who you're rooting for. Give your driver, your favorite team, or whoever some TV time. And let you know how they're running. Good to always see everybody out here. As we go on board, looking back from Lucas Hoytsman, looking at the nose of that 15 car, Robert Miller, who Lucas indicated had a little fuel conservation to do on that last stage, so couldn't drive up to Lucas as he did in stage 1. Let's see if that's all it was, or if Lucas had something figured out here. Again, as we ride on into the day, you see the dynamic sky we have here in iRacing. The sun will move, the shadows will be cast over the track. That will affect the track conditions, so the track will start to cool off and start to affect cars in different ways depending on how you have the car set up. This is a open setup series, which means all the drivers are able to configure everything on the car just like you would in real life. The springs, the shocks, the height of the front, the back of the car, where you want to put that diffuser in the air, tire pressures, the whole hootenanny these guys can configure. And of course, with all those variables, again, as the track changes and the weather changes that we have up on screen here, that will begin to affect the cars. Now I am noticing it looks like we're about 20 laps or so into the stage here, and this top six cars, or 5 cars, not as much separation as we had before. As Robert Miller's taking a look under Lucas Hoytsma, thinks better of it, falls back in line. But this is about the time in stage 1 where he would get the jump on his teammate here. So I'm sure Lucas Hoytsma, he has a rear view mirror full of Robert Miller right now. But more importantly, those other cars behind Robert Miller, these guys aren't getting the separation they got in stage 1. So you have Clayton Hoffman, Andrew Dyson, Matt Long sitting there ready to pounce. If he should get forced to the top lane here, and they get that preferred lane between them. Got some battling here in the back. Looks like Sean O'Brien Jr. battling with Jim Schofield. And we have a battle for the lead. Robert Miller at the same time takes the lead away from Lucas Hoytsma as they went into turn 3. So finally complete that move after taking looks after a couple laps. So new leader, Robert Miller, takes it over on lap 192 from Lucas Hoytsma. It already looks like he's put about a 10th between them. So a couple car lengths here between himself and his teammate. And will immediately expose Lucas Hoytsma to the hornet's nest of the top 5 here. So 4 playoff drivers in the top 5: Miller, Hoytsma, Hoffman, and Dyson. Again, Matt Long not in the playoffs, but here in the hunt for the win. Looking to play spoiler here and get a win here at Texas. But as we go back to, going back to 14th, again, Schofield has just taken that position away from Alexander Van der Sant. And I think that was Heitman over the radio saying, "Are you serious?" So not happy about something. As we watch Wayne Grass in the back here with Dalton Mobley and John Delaney battling for this position here. And the blinking Patrick Gitter behind them, again, staying out of the way. It's good on Patrick. We always appreciate that for series. Again, we try to give drivers leeway, like, hey, look, we'll let you run, but you'll have to stay out of folks' way so that we don't have any unnecessary incidents. Lap 195 as you work down the backstretch here, looking at John Delaney going under Dalton Mobley. 2x2 here towards the back. So Delaney will take that away, also take the position away from Sean O'Brien Jr. here in the 24. Again, as we see the blinking car in the back there will be Patrick Gitter. Sure, again, wishing he could just go up here and race, but unfortunately not to be today. As we take a look back up front, Matt DeCiani, Neil Pearson, kind of third or fourth group here, being led by Derek Heitman. Mark Paget, and looks like that's Neil Hodgson running in the 12 car in this little pack. Nolan Hodgson. Sorry, what did I say? Neil Hodgson. Too many ends in this league. So Dalton Mobley takes that position off of Sean O'Brien Jr., the 24 car. And they're jawing a little bit back and forth on the race radio. A little jokingly, as Sean O'Brien just chastising the 77 little car. Not as fast as, not exactly the fastest car on the track. And Sean let him know that. '99 here in the 100% Cup Series. Going the full 400 miles here at Texas Motor Speedway. Beginning the first round here, the round of 12. So all of our playoff guys are trying to get a great start to the playoff. Get those, the stages are behind us. Hopefully they got the stage points now hunting for that good finish. Bank those points. Miller and Hoytsma and Hoffman up front looking for the win to punch their ticket into the round of 8. As Nolan Hodson is going underneath, Mark Paget takes that position away. We've got some issues with the one car and RJ Root here in the back as they go side by side into turn 1. Again, these are 2 of our playoff contenders here in the round of 12.
All right, it hasn't been that long since you've been off the cars, since you've been off the races. When would you contemplate going down there with this?
Yeah, so I had a chance to talk with a couple of the drivers. I mean, the fuel window here is again 60 to 65. We had about 100 laps or so, 90 so laps for the pit cycle. So typically splitting the stage in half will be the quickest way to get around this joint. So you'll want to do 45-ish or so laps. That'll give you the fastest time on the tires. Now, again, the earlier you pit, you put yourself at risk here for a caution coming out. Again, we haven't had a caution for cause yet. We've come close a couple times, but the guys have been able to save it and keep it straight. So I imagine that's what the strategy you'll be looking at. If you're out front, your Miller, your Hoytsma, your Hoffman, these guys will have up to 10 seconds or so to play with on really the nearest rival, I'd expect by that point. So it gives you a little bit of time to make a decision with the undercut. If if you get reports around the track, maybe someone's struggling and the caution may come out, you can give it a couple more laps and give up those seconds you accumulated, because ultimately, again, unless there is something that's going to change here tonight, or someone's going to make an adjustment and be able to match your pace, you're going to have them covered here on the medium run if that's your play. I probably expect someone to gamble. Some of those maybe a little further back. We got some playoff guys not having the best race. So again, Delaney in 23rd, for example. At this point, man, you haven't caught a caution yet. He is in the lucky dog spot though, so you won't want to risk that. But maybe it's time for him to consider hanging it out a little bit, staying out on the pit cycle. Perhaps taking a gamble. And Delaney comes over the radio and says he wants to bring out the caution. So obviously aware of his position and his kind of how his night's going. I'm wondering who's going to drop the PayPal link into the chat. Yeah, but you got to think again, if the car is here and again that kind of 6th to 10th area, you're thinking about any more adjustments can you make? Can you get anything else out of the car? Even if you don't have anything for Miller, Hoytsma, or that top 5, again, you're still defending against the cars around you. As we have a car on the apron there.
Russo.
Yep, Russo. I guess coming out of the pits here. I don't show him making a pit stop, so I guess he just must have had an issue in the apron there. Lap 208 here of 267. We make our way. No more stage breaks here. We're going to the end. Waiting to see what the pit cycle will be, if we will get that caution. Delaney is hoping for it. He is the lucky dog position right now, sitting there in 23rd. Sean O'Brien Jr. is the last car in the lead lap, so he would be the only person who would break that if he were to get lapped by the leaders, but only 20 seconds back. I wouldn't expect that again. I'd expect the stage to be split here, so around 40 laps into the run, 45 laps into the run. You should start to see a pit cycle begin and open up. So I'd imagine that John Delaney's going to stay in that lucky dog position. Another thing to keep an eye on is, again, we have our 13 incident limit here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. And there are a few drivers getting pretty close to that here, Carlos. We have Nolan Hodgson, who has 9 incident points, so he's had a couple car contacts and possibly an off track here. So he's only a few away from. Yep, that's a car contact away from a. That's a car contact away from being disqualified. As Jedi slides through his box, so he's coming down pit road with the early risk and taking the gamble. See if he can make up some track position. Yep, damage on that car. He's had some beats and bangs tonight. As we go through wide multicam, you see up top, battling is intensifying up top. Justin Hall's making some moves. He gets around the 0-2 of Mark Padgett as he makes his way through the track position. Sets his eyes on the 0-6 of Daniel Simmons. Out front, we continue to see Robert Miller lead with Lucas Hoytsmith 3/10 back. Clayton Hoffman about a second and a half off of them. So we're starting to see this field stretch out a little bit. Matt Long is a couple tenths behind Hoffman. And kind of a little second pack here. You got Andrew Dyson chasing him. That continues to be your top 5. Matt DiCiani is 4 seconds back off of the lead in 6th place.
Probably the next 10 laps we'll see if we win that.
That's what I'd expect. That's what I expect is, again, that window will open. Again, it probably, opens around 60-65, so could go from here, which is why we saw Jedi come down. All right, as we keep an eye here on Matt Long, riding here in 5th position, or excuse me, 4th position. As we keep an eye on Andrew Dyson, trying to work his way around Matt Long here. Side by side up front, Clayton Hoffman is underneath. Got a lap car he's working around, or is that Lucas Hoytsmith? That is a lap car. Looks like Tanner Marty is trying to work his way around here. You know, I am shocked and surprised. You know, we have seen quite a bit of racing and 3 wides here. Look, some of these guys are the best in the business. You know, we typically, boast about a 4K average iRating here on in the 100% Cup Series. And for those that aren't aware, iRating is essentially your rank score. Oh, as the pit cycle has opened, RJ Root is on pit road. So the first kind of those front folks to come in. Sean O'Brien Jr. also on pit road. Doesn't appear to be taking tires.
Oh, Sean O'Brien Jr. actually got a meatball flag a couple of laps ago. I'm not sure why. I'm going to try to see if we can find out why. He's clearing his damage right now. He's actually already cleared the meatball flag.
So damage for the 24 car had to come down to get that fixed. And again, once you get the meatball flag, so the black flag with the orange circle, it's required damage. You have 3 laps to come and get that fixed to the attention of the pit crew, or you will be disqualified by the virtual stewards. So unfortunate for the 24 car. It's going to put into a decent run he was having. He was in at about 14th to 15th position kind of race there.
Here's the reason why, actually.
As we have a replay on the screen.
Exiting 2.
Oh no, just tight off of 2 and having to chase it up the wall and bangs into the safer barrier. And I don't see it sparking, so maybe he didn't break a toe link, but enough that he had to come get that fixed. Unfortunate break for Sean O'Brien. And that's going to put it into a good run here. Andrew Dyson's in, so he was I believe your 4th place car, or 5th place car as he came down pit road. So now we will start to see this again. Matt Long is also on road. He was running in 4th. So this will start to put the pressure. The clock has started for Robert Miller and Lucas Hoitzma. The LMM boys will now have to respond to this. They'll have to keep an eye on it and start to look at the landscape and determine when they're going to come to pit road. Alex Van der Sande on pit road. More pit cycle happening. Bobby Anderson coming. Clayton Hoffman coming. Clayton Hoffman, zips on the pit road. Hopefully he wasn't speeding. I didn't lock up, but that was pretty quick entry, so he's going to make up some time there. Pearson on pit road. Elliman continue to stay out. Robert Miller leads your race. Lucas Hoitzma 8 ticks behind. Derek Heitman inherits the 3rd position, 4.8 seconds off the lead. Again, I expect all same thing as last time. 4 tires and fuel. Now you won't have to fill up a tank starting from here. So you'll have about a 15 lap or so window. So you could underfuel the car. That will save time on your pit stop. I'm sure all the veteran guys will know that. You'll probably see some variants on pit road. Daniel Simmons, the 06 car, brings his car down pit road as well. Trying to get the undercut and make up some track position on the folks around him. As we see on the top side, Dalton Mobley on screen, Clayton Hoffman back on the track. Pedal to the metal now, it's go time. I would expect too much more tire saving. You know what your car has, you know what you can do. It's a flat out pursuit at this point. Miller and Hoitzman still staying out. Miller is called out, he's coming down, so hand out the window for the 15 car that leads. And the 12 cars around, and a caution. Nolan Hodgson, the 4X he did not need, he gets. He's going to be out of the race, as Carlo mentioned. Oh, man, and the cars were in the middle of the pit cycle.
Hoffman, meatball.
Yeah, Hoffman not going to be happy with whatever happened there. We'll get the replay on screen here in a second, but for now, did Miller make it on the pit road? Because he was coming. Did he make it on the pit road before pit lane closed? The replay on the screen. It's Clayton Hoffman.
Oh, wow.
Oh. So him and Dyson got together as he was trying to come to pit road?
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
Hoffman. Oh, no. Hoffman thrown down pit road. That's going to be a penalty for Hoffman.
That's not going to bother him. He already has a meatball flag, so he's going to be stuck there anyway.
He was destroyed. Okay. So damage to the car, as you can see there, the right front of that car was all torn up.
Was also involved.
Chaos in stage 3 replay on the screen. Matt Long involved.
Oh, no. I think I know what happened.
Oh, contact in front.
Oh,
Did he get hit
Delaney.
again?
Delaney, I
Oh,
believe
Delaney
he spun
involved.
out. So he will probably not be eligible for that free pass.
Yeah, if he was in the free pass position, if you're just like in Full Metal NASCAR, if you're involved in this incident, you do not get the free pass. So, oh man, that just the worst possible scenario for a bunch of drivers is Nolan Hodson and looks like Dyson come together. They spin.
Actually, Delaney saved it.
So it looks like he made a little contact though. If he made contact, that'll be the key there. I actually don't see a four. I don't see a 4X for Delaney, so he might have gotten away clean there.
Actually, Delaney's showing fourth. I think because he stayed out. He was probably already on the lead lap.
True. We were in the middle of the pit cycle. Good call, Carlos. So he was running fourth at the time. Well, that's exactly what Delaney needed. So that's the caution he needs to keep that track position. And a new player has now entered the game if he's on the lead lap. Someone that clean. So no damage to the car. He's going to be back on the lead lap. This is someone the LMN boys have not had to be concerned with.
Who were you
But
asking?
always.
Who were you asking if they had made pit road before the caution came out?
Miller. Did Miller make it on pit road? I know he was coming. I think he was on.
It
but
shows
that caution.
him last pit stop at lap 167, so I don't think he did. The current leader, no, he did not make it in time, so he's going down pit road right now. I was going to pull up a replay,
Okay.
but this confirms it.
Yep. So he must have bailed out of that. He called it out over the radio, so hand was out the window at the time the incident happened. So, man, Robert Miller dodges a bullet there.
Lucas Hoytsma is staying out. He last went down pit road on lap 226, so that was 2 laps ago. So he's the only one that actually got out of this. No problem.
Yeah, huge shakeup here on with the Nolan Hodgson incident. Cars all over the place in the middle of the pit cycle.
I wonder if we should talk to Delaney, get his point of view about how his race went now that he's back in contention.
Absolutely. Let's get Delaney on the phone here. So get Delaney in the booth. He is back on the lead lap. John Delaney, tomorrow's up in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, John, you've been fighting the good fight all race here for almost all 400 miles, trying to get back on the lead lap. Chaos during the pit cycle. You're back on the lead lap. How's it feel? What's it looking like? You in contention for the win here now?
Definitely not in contention for the win. That's for sure. Speed is not all the way there tonight. But yeah, I'm finally happy to be back on lead lap after 180 some laps of trying to get lucky dogs. So back lead lap, we're gonna try and keep the car clean. We're gonna be at the very end of the pack though, because we're gonna have a EOL from our lucky dog. So we'll be all the way in the back. Hopefully we can kind of work our way through the field and get our way up to the front. So yeah.
Yeah, you're usually one of the faster guys here in the 100% Cup Series. So what are you dealing with the car? It's too loose, too tight? What do you not have to get up there and compete for a win?
Well, start of the race we were wrecking loose. So came in, fixed that, then we were too tight. So now we're kind of just trying to find the perfect adjustment for the car. I've been changing the car every single time I'm able to under caution or even under green. So we're trying to get it fixed and working properly. We're a little tight and a loose off, so we've been trying to fix it.
All right, John, we'll put you back up with the team. Well, good luck. Hopefully you can make up some spots here and have a good points night for the playoffs, and we'll catch you later.
Thank you.
Hey, Hodgson is also, he's in the infield carry center, I should say. We'll bring him up maybe a lap or two after this.
Yep, I see him there in the ICC. So Hodgson is out of the car and obviously feeling okay. Again, thank goodness it's virtual racing as we get underway on lap 230. Lucas Hoytsma takes the green flag in stage 3 here. And we're going to have a short run to the finish, so we're going to 367. So 37 laps is the target. Lucas Hoisman has to hold that lead until then. We got some shakeup here in the field. So Dalton Mobley, John Delaney are now in your top 5, rounded out by Derek Heitman. So different players in the game here, challenging Lucas Hoisman and Robert Miller. As we see John Delaney, who just we're able to speak to. Oh, looks like Tanner Martin looks like he smoked the wall there coming out of 4. As they're all going through wide behind them. Bobby Anderson here in the back, so obviously not recovering from the issues he's been having earlier. But now we see how much slack the teammates give each other. We heard Lucas say and Robert both say, look, they're racing for the win, and we're getting close to that go time. Dalton Mobley is the wild card here, so we'll see what he has to say about any of this. I'm sure he's going all out now. He has nothing to lose. Dalton Mobley not in the playoffs, but looking for a win nonetheless here at Texas Motor Speedway.
So I'm not sure how this happened. I'm sure there wasn't a glitch. This was probably the way it was meant to be. But when the restart started, it was the top 3 drivers, and then we had a bunch of drivers that were a lap down, and then Delaney and Heitman.
Yeah, so Delaney would have had the EOL from the Lucky Dog, so he would have whipped to the tail end of the longest line. I didn't catch if we had many waiver rounds there. I think we did have some waiver rounds just because of the pit cycle. So guys had to, with 1 to go, had to scoot around the whole track and come back to the rear end, and to put them all in a single line here. As we have a little bit of action up front here. So yeah, that would have thrown race control would have had a time putting all those cars back in the right place. But yeah, Delaney would start at the end of the longest line, minus any penalties anybody would have got. So again, if you would have got a speeding penalty or anything like that, you would have started behind him. But as we go here, 234 going to 267. 400 miles here at Texas Motor Speedway in the round of 12 in the 100% Cup Series. Your 2 cars out front, Lucas Hoitzma and Robert Miller, have been out front all day, dominating the field. No one's had a whole lot for them. There have been cars that can keep up with them short run, and we got a kind of a medium run coming here with 30 or so laps. So we have Dalton Mobley in 3rd place, Delaney in 4th, which, look, if Delaney come out here with the top 5, oh my goodness. Talk about the reversal of days. I mean, he will take those points all day long as we head to Talladega, which, of course, is a wild card race. You never know what happens at a super speedway. Hearts can be broken. Anybody can win. And then another track after that will be the Roval, which we would expect one of the road course aces to shine at. But you never know. So Lucas Hoisman continued to lead, two tenths ahead of Robert Miller. There you see 3rd place, so Dalton Mobley's already falling back here. He's flanked by Wayne Grass. I think Wayne is a lap down here, so he's not. It's not full position. In that number 3 Pennzoil Chevrolet. And John Delaney back there in 5th. Or, 4th. But some battles back in the field. We got back for 10th, Matt Long and Jim Schofield. Teammates are battling, and now as Daniel Simmons will get some of that action, going underneath Matt Long. Here again, battling for that 10th spot. So Daniel Simmons here with a strong run again, making his series debut. A rookie here in 100% Cup Series in his first race, looking for that top 10.
Oh, that's freaking Hodgson.
Oh, absolutely. We got Neil Hodgson. Nolan Hodgson in the infield care center. So we'll bring him up here and see what happened here later tonight with him and Dyson. Nolan Hodgson's Mars in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Nolan Hodgson in the infield care center. So your day over. Look, we saw you get incidented out. Unfortunate incident. Walk us through what happened from your eyes.
Well, I mean, really, it was quite simple. I put in the chat box that I was pitting with my little button that I got here on my fancy steering wheel that I got here, and you know, it seemed like, you know, putting it in the chat box was working for everybody. You know, I've done it for many races in the chat box, and everybody seems to miss me somehow. And I guess Andrew didn't, you know, move his eyes up just a little bit to see that chat box. So that's pretty much what happened.
Oh man, that's unfortunate. I wasn't able to make out. I know you had some words. What did Andrew? You know, what did he have to say about it? Did he not see it? Did he apologize? Or where do you guys stand right now?
Well, I mean, pretty much he just said that he didn't see it and that it didn't work for him, which, you know, I pretty much told him, yeah, I mean, it's worked for like everyone else. I don't know why you would be the only one that it didn't work for. So, I mean, that was pretty much the end of it. He said some stuff I didn't even understand, and I don't know. I'm not very happy that it ruined a possible top 10 finish, but I mean, I guess we got to move on to next week.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunate event. So hopefully you will see you at Talladega and hopefully have a little better day. But it is a wild card race. I expect some more chaos. Hopefully you're not involved, Nolan. But you did have a good run going, unfortunately, into your day, man. And hopefully you can have a better outing when we get to Talladega.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, Nolan Hodgson in the booth, who, again, having issues with Andrew Dyson. Unfortunately, incidented out, hit that incident limit, trying to come to pit road. So communication errors between him and the 04 car of Dyson, which is unfortunate. All right, as we check back into the race, let's see where we're at here. Lucas Hoytsman continues to lead Robert Miller. So Robert Miller has not made his move yet. 24 to go left in the race. As we watch RJ Root, this group here. RJ Root, Neil Pearson, racing here for, I can't see what position that is, but racing here back in the field. Everyone's pretty single file out. Oh, as Jason Jedi Taylor slides a little bit and cuts some more grass here down the front stretch. Hopefully he saves that and no caution. And avoids the penalty going into the right side of the cone there. Man, rough night for Jason S. Taylor. Just does not have his best stuff here at Texas, but as he comes out of 4, and as we've seen today, just gets loose, chases it down into the infield to straighten out the car. Testing out those new iRacing grass physics. So it's no longer straight ice when you hit the grass. There's a little bit of grip to be had and some undulations to the car. So saves it, stays to the right, avoids the penalty, and back onto the track. So on board with Robert Miller as we watch Lucas Hoytsman as they trade lap times here. You see the last 5 laps here at the bottom of the screen, 20 to go. I would imagine that if Robert Miller can get it done, this is the time to make the move as he hugs that white line into 1 and 2, all into the backstretch. Going by Big Hoss here on the backstretch, big screen for all the virtual fans. Right, down into turn 3 and 4 again on the white line. These guys are running identical lines, so again, they're on the same equipment here. So unfortunately, Robert Miller's gonna have to beat his own stuff. But he's been able to do that in the first couple stages. He was able to get around Lucas Hoytsman again, minus the reported fuel issues. So he's having to save a little bit in stage 2, couldn't get back around him. But I'd imagine that Robert Miller probably would be a little better off in the long runs where he's able to put distance on Lucas Hoytsman, that 07 machine in front of him. And again, had a medium run here with that caution. It's only 19 to go. I think there are about 30 laps to go in this little segment when we went green, or 20 or so to go. But he's starting to draw in slower and slower. He's reeling in that 07 Mustang. Trying to take away the win. Oh, a little yaw there for the gold 07. Maybe starting to feel that pressure from the 15. So the teammate games are off here. No team orders coming for LMM. Someone put a GPS track on Andre. Hopefully he's not watching. He has his eyes closed right now. He doesn't want his cars to tear each other up. And here we go, 1/10 back. Robert Miller continues to stalk the 07. Lucas Hoitzma, 3 wins on the season. Definitely able to put together here at 1.5 miles. Robert Miller's no slouch either. Also a season winner here. As he makes and draws closer to Lucas Hoitzma. Here it is. He throws the look. Out breaks down into turn 1. Keeps it down on the white line. Lucas continues to fight back. Let's see if he can get the momentum off of the top lane. He cannot. Robert Miller clears him. Is there a cutback coming? No cutback coming. Lucas Hoitzma will follow him into 3 on the bottom. And that may be the move of the race. We'll see what Lucas can do to respond. 16 to go. 15 to go as we cross the line. And Robert Miller is now the leader of the Texas Ranger 400. Again, spoke to both of these cars earlier in the day. We go to the 3-wide multicam, racing back in the field. So back around the 10th spot. Up top, Mark Padgett, Daniel Simmons, doing battle for 10th position. On your bottom, the 2 leaders, who have a 2-second lead over Dalton Mobley and John Delaney in 3rd and 4th. So they're going to need some help or caution to catch back up and get to them. And if we got a caution at this point, all bets are off. I think all the cars are fairly even at this point in the race if you had to go with 10 or 12 or 10 to go 12 or 10 laps to go. I think that just about anybody could bring it to LMM and Robert and Lucas. So they definitely don't want to see that. They want to see the green flag for the rest of the race and settle this amongst themselves. But again, the battle up top continues. 4 cars, a little group here and a little bunch. Looks like Daniel Simmons, Jim Schofield, Mark Padgett, RJ Root leading the group in front. As Mark Padgett takes a little look, thinks better of it, stays behind Daniel Simmons as they dive into 3. On your bottom, no changes. Lucas Hoitzma trying to follow Robert Miller, trying to get back around. Robert Miller is not getting away again, staying in that draft, trying to keep pace. Only a 10th between the 2 cars up front. And these are your leaders, both playoff drivers. As you see, the red windshield banner, the red splitter, and the red spoiler, both in the round of 12, trying to advance to the round of 8. And taking the checkered flag will do that for either. So they're looking to punch their way into that round of 8 again to get out of this wild card round. Talladega next week, the Roval the week after. Anything can happen. So for these guys that are strong on the intermediates, now is the time to get the job done. You don't want to leave the chance in the next 2 weeks. Never know what could happen there. Again, 100% Cup. When we get to the Roval, real life NASCAR will be throwing stage cautions. We will not. We will continue our stageless breaks for the road courses. So we'll award points at the stage ends, but we will not throw a caution flag. So that opens up strategy all over the place. And again, if you're Lucas or Robert, you want to avoid that at all costs. So Lucas Hoitzma came in 22 points above the cut line. So he was already sitting pretty. They've both gotten stage points. They traded stage wins tonight. So finishing position plus 19 for both of these guys, I'd expect. Robert Miller also came in just 5 points above the cut line, but again, stage points will help that, and a win will not only help this round, but give him some more playoff points to begin the next round. So 8 to go here. As we check back one more time, 10th place, still continuing the battle. Schofield and Simmons side by side. Further back, they're fighting for this 10th spot. Now RJ Root and Schofield are battling for that 10th spot. So we'll hang on to these guys for just 1 second, and we'll get back to the leaders to cap off the race. This looks to be one of the closest battles here on the track. I mean, these guys have been side by side for the last 3 laps. They're fighting tooth and nail, and they fall into single file. Oh, but not for long. Schofield goes again, trying to take that 8th place away from Raymond Root. So RJ putting up a hard fight, playing that Dikembe Mutombo defense on the high line. Now he's going to be burning his tires. He's putting more pressure on that right rear. It'll be under pressure longer on the high line. But with 6 to go, all bets are off. You got to do what you got to do. Use your stuff. So they remain side by side. Up front, Robert Miller is putting a little bit more space between himself and Lucas Hoytsma. So Lukey Bear about 2/10 back now. Sure, he is doing everything he can, maybe saving his stuff for a last-ditch effort to try to get around them. But man, Carlos, a huge shakeup tonight. You know, I'll be honest, coming into Texas, you know, I expected what we typically see is all those red names on the ticket to be up front in the top 10. That has not happened. Huge playoff implications out of this race as we see side by side again. Daniel Simmons continuing the battle with RJ Root. That 45 car trying to hold off on the top line. Oh, and into the wall RJ goes. That should give Daniel that position as well as Mark Paget.
Top 10 for the
with
rookie.
4 to go. And it looks like Mark Paget is not done. So multicam, here we go, 4 to go. Your leaders on the bottom, Robert Miller and Lucas Hoytsma. We've talked about them all night long. No one else has had anything else for them. All the challengers have kind of fallen away. Alex Murray, unfortunate incident. He's going to come out with a bad finish today.
Battle for third.
A battle for third. Delaney and Derek Heitman. So Derek Heitman also in that Prodigy eSports equipment. So the same thing that Alex Murray is running. So he definitely has the speed and the pace. Oh, sliding off to Delaney. Loose off of 4. That's going to open the door for Derek Heitman. You know Heitman's going to take that. The 76 dives underneath him into turn 1. Side by side as RJ Root is cutting grass in the back. And Bobby Anderson takes it away for him. Back to the 3rd place battle. We go. Derek Heitman trying to step onto the podium. John Delaney said he didn't have much for the win, but he thinks he has quite a bit for 3rd, so he's going to continue to fight that. Multicam back up to the top.
Last lap.
And as white flag, leaders on the bottom, Robert Miller continues to keep 3/10 between he and Lucas Hoytsma. The 07 trying to get a run down the backstretch. It doesn't look like he has it. Driving hard down into turn 3. Taking it into turn 4. Lucas Hoytsma has nothing for Robert Miller. The 15 car comes off of turn 4 and takes your checkered flag for the Texas Ranger 400. Lucas Hoytsma finished 2nd. For 3rd, door to door to the finish line. Derek Heitman and Delaney, who got it?
Delaney, it looks like.
Delaney looks like, am I reading that right on the ticker? Are they to the 1,000th, maybe 1,000th or 100th? Delaney got 3rd place, door to door.
Schofield and Simmons also battling side by side for the 9th and 10th.
So battles all over the track at the end there. No space spared between competitors. But Robert Miller, your 15 car, takes your win, and he's going to burn it down and celebrate. He punches his ticket into the round of 8. So he pulls himself out of the wild card races for Talladega and Roval. He doesn't have to worry. He's good to go. Came in just 5 above the cut line, so he didn't have a huge cushion. Didn't need it. He had the winning car, and he used it. So as Robert Miller burns it down, we'll go through your running order here. Miller takes the win, Hoytsma second. John Delaney, who was not confident about the win, but definitely had a top 5 car, so he caught a break with the lucky dog, maximized what he could get out of today. Comes out with a top 5. Derek Heitman, who came across door-to-door with Delaney, fighting for that 3rd place. He takes 4th. Dalton Mobley rounds out your top 5. Dalton Mobley, what a run. Top 5 for DGR. Matt DeCiani, Neil Pearson, Mark Paget, Jim Schofield, and Daniel Simmons, again making his debut, round out your top 10. Bobby Anderson, RJ Root, Dustin Hall, Alex Van der Sant in 14th, your former IROC champ. 15th, Andrew Dyson, who was in the top 5 for much of the day. Unfortunately, with the chaos of the cautions, slips back a little bit. Matt Long, same story in 16th. Patrick Gitter in 17th, your 18th finisher. Jamie Knopf, who we didn't talk about a whole lot today, but had to avoid some issues out there. Wayne Grass in 19th. Pretty good finish for Wayne. He was fighting there in the back, so was able to maintain that position. Randy Drumhammer, 20th. Rob Tracy in 21st. Tanner Marty in 22nd. Jason Taylor, or Jedi Taylor, in 23rd. So the strategy calls didn't quite work out. Andrew Russo subbing in for Ralph Hudson in the 8 car, finishes 24th. SOBJ in 25th. Nolan Hodgson, again, that contact with Andrew Dyson, the miscommunication on the pit road, ends his day, running in the top 10. He's in 26th. 27th, Clayton Hoffman. 28th, Alex Murray. Again, more issues for Alex. Unfortunate incident. Also caught up today. So that will round out your finishing positions. And we'll get a word with our top 3 finishers here. Get a word and see how all of their nights went. So bear with us as we have our track staff go wrangle up our top 3. Lucas Hoytsma and Robert Miller getting the LMM boys dominant tonight. And John Delaney, let's get him in the waiting room as well. All right, we got him. All right, so let's start with our 3rd place finisher. We'll get a word with John Delaney. John Delaney, top 3, door-to-door, coming across the line. You and Heitman didn't think you had the car to win, but looks like you had the car for a top 5. Tell us about it coming across the line, brother.
Yeah, car was all right that last run. Heitman definitely was a lot faster, but I was able to hold him off on the top. That was pretty fun, nice, clean, hard race in there to the end. We were side by side, photo finish, so lots of fun. It was a long one though, trying to fight back from that lap down when I spin on pit road. But yeah, that was, I mean, not my favorite track, but I'll take it.
Yeah, look, you came into the night 29 and above the cut line. So you had a pretty good cushion. Again, struggled all night. We weren't sure you were going to catch that break for the lucky dog, and you're doing what you need to do to hold that position, but then someone will get a lap down. So strong 3rd place finish. I don't think you got any stage points tonight because of being a lap down, but so you should have increase that cushion going into Talladega. How do you feel about going into next week and trying to maintain this cushion you have to make it into the round of 8?
Yeah, I'm hoping we can do good. We haven't been too good on super speedways this year. We just haven't had good luck lately. So maybe we can try and turn the luck around and try and get a good finish out of it. Super speedway races are always anyone can win at them, so they're always crazy down to the last lap. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, certainly anyone can win these days. You don't have your running mate. Rest in peace to the 2020 champ, no longer with us.
Rip.
So definitely a wild card. It looks like I probably won't be in the car, so I'll be back in the booth. So that takes me off the board. We all know how great I am at super speedways. Toot my own horn there. Now, anybody you want to thank before we get you out of here for your run?
Yeah, all the guys at Apex, Rise Esports, Lockdown, Kevin Steele for the paint, Coney Setup Shop, you guys up in the booth for broadcasting, and yeah, that's all I got.
All right, well, congratulations on your third place finish, John. Again, a huge rebound, adding to that points total. And hopefully we'll be talking to you again and having some better luck at Talladega.
Yep, hope so. Thank you, guys.
It's third place out of the booth, John Delaney. Let's get a chat with our second place finisher, Lucas Hoitzman. Lucas, is Damaris in the booth. You got me?
Yep.
Well, came up a little bit short, and it was the man we were thinking it was all night, and the person you worried about, your teammate, Robert Miller. Looks like you guys battled all the way through to the end there. What did you need to keep that lead and get it off of him, or do you think you could have won that race?
I mean, I don't know. If he wasn't my teammate, definitely would have fought him harder. But he made the move there, got to my inside. I was just like, I'll sit back, try to save my tires, and that is just something I was not good at all night. We got past, I think, about 35 laps into the run, and he was making up tenths a lap on me, it seemed like. And I'd get behind his draft and I'd stick with him just fine, but for some reason I just kept burning the right rear off all night, and he was just so much better at getting off of 4. And a P2, me and him both had a great night. Definitely wasn't going to fight him too hard for it. That's going to get him to the next round and put me in a really good spot for this round. So definitely a good day for the LMM crew, and look at the round of 8, really.
Yeah, you were another guy, man. We just talked to John Delaney, and so you came in here 22 points above the cut line. So, I guess thinking about the team, and if you can't win yourself, who better than Robert Miller, who's only 5 up coming, so he punches his ticket into the round of 8. But that still leaves you on the board. So we have Talladega coming up and the Roval after. How do you feel about the next 2 races in this round of 8 or round of 12?
Well, I did win Dega last season, so that makes me feel pretty good going into it. But we all know how Dega goes. Anything can happen. It could put me in a bad spot going into the Roval. So just got to be careful next week. And if I do well there, then I can pretty much send it at the Roval. But definitely got to be careful these next 2 weeks. Still, can't just feel like I got it locked in yet.
Yep. And you guys do run good at Super Speedway. So good luck. Hopefully you have another good run there at Talladega. Anybody you want to thank or shout out you want to give here?
Yeah, just shout out to my buddy Randy, Labor 12. He was at the Xfinity race today, so shout out to him. And CTC, Low Drag Esports, M9 Performance. Everybody puts this thing on. Robert for building an absolute rocket ship this week, and all my teammates as well.
All right. Well, another good run from Lucas Hoitzman. Again, you're my dark horse pick last year. You're kind of my dark horse pick last year, so hopefully, or this year. So hopefully you continue the good runs, and we'll be talking to you today.
I appreciate it, man. See you guys.
All right, that's Lucas Hoitzman, your second place finisher. Now the man of the hour, Robert Miller, your winner of the Texas Ranger 400. Robert Damaris in the booth. You got me?
Hi.
Well, back in winner's circle, Robert. We talked to you early in the race. Came down as you guys talked it out. It was just you and Lucas at the end. No one really else had anything for you. Tell us about that move you made for the win and how it came together.
I was just saving a little bit of tire better than Lucas was at the end of that race, and I'm just managing managing the gap really, and then I had to time it to where I wouldn't burn up what I had saved, passing him, and luckily I was able to do that. Lucas was nice enough not to race me too hard to make it a problem. So shout out to that. So that's pretty much how that went.
Yep. So you're into the round of 8. So you have a pretty stress-free Talladega and Roval. I'd imagine, but you still got a teammate. You got to get into the round of 8. So what's the plan heading into the Super Speedway? And I expect you guys are going to try to unload another rocket ship for the Super Speedway as well.
That's the plan. Our Super Speedway package is pretty good this year, so we'll just keep plugging away at it, keep pushing, and do our thing. And then Roval, well, we're gonna have some fun at the Roval. That always is.
Yeah, again, we mentioned you were pretty strong at COTA, and obviously you're one of the former road course kings before we got the 6K Aussies into the race. So we'd expect to see a good run from you at the Roval, and hopefully now that you got to win, you see a little sending at the Roval, right? No stages, so it's going to be a little different. So hopefully we can get a good show out of you. But another win for the LMM crew. Altus eSports 15. Who you want to give a shout out to for your win?
Altus eSports, obviously. We have Tucker Minner ready for the Coke Finals on Tuesday. Be there. We're gonna have a good old race. It's gonna be fun at Homestead, and then we're rocking it.
Yeah, I'm sure that Andre is somewhere down in the Coors right now celebrating with you. So enjoy the victory. Good win. Again, dominant for the LMM crew, and again, hopefully we're having more good conversations at Talladega.
Appreciate y'all. Good night.
All right, and that's your winner, Robert Miller. So again, really kind of unloaded with the car to beat. Did everything, executed everything that he needed to do there at the end. Him and his teammate kind of had understanding that it wasn't racing too hard there, Carlos. So pretty good race at the end. A lot of side-by-side racing. Huge battles there at the end of the race. So Robert Miller, your winner of the Texas Ranger 400. And LMM will be looking to unload at Talladega with something even quicker. So that's it. That's 3Y TV booth. Myself, I'm DeMars in the booth. Carlos Acosta pushing all the buttons for the race of the evening. And we will see everybody at Dega next week. Hope you enjoyed the show. Bye.